yourselves from the pack.
Now, we do want to give a very special shout In the first quarter.
Yeah, and you wonder if that might be a problem with them. This is the first team we faced all season really that has the size of that, starting a 6'11" and 7-footer, basically 2 7-footers down low. Got to move their feet.
And based on that rule, you also do retain possession. Mavs going right to left right now, working offense. The Jet feeds it over to Robert Crawford, who's working into the lane and goes up the little floater. Oh, it's tipped in by Jackie Butler. James, these guys still have the same energy from 9 days ago.
Yeah, and you wonder if those days off might have played into it. I think Coach T knows what he's doing and knows what his players need, and they're really showing that tonight.
Mavs leading 11-5, 9:56 remaining in the first quarter. Rochester on the attack. 4-3 air ball by number 44, Dale Koch. Okay, Robert Crawford for three. Got a little bit of a tip on it, but it almost
Butler
goes in.
with the tip again.
Butler with another tip. Jackie Butler, the former NBA star, tips it in. Mavs leading 13-5 by 8. And Rochester's seen enough. Call the timeout. So we're going to take timeout for a 1-minute commercial break. After we remind you, you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro will be right back. Welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, everyone. Kevin Porter, James Herzog, bringing you all the exciting action as our number two ranked Kentucky Mavs take on the number 1 ranked Rochester Razorsharks. Right now, our Mavs leading by 8, 13-5. Number 2, Corey Allman for a little ticky-tack foul was called on Josh Johnson. He's at the line, converts on the first of 2 free throws, cutting that lead to 7, 13-6. Kentucky Mavs lead.
Yeah, let's hope we don't get into the same free throw shooting match we did last time with all those ticky-tack fouls. We got a tough team in here. We should let them play.
Mavs going right to left, back on the attack. The Jet down the right side of the court, gets it across the timeline, back into the hands of Nick Waddell. To that man, Robert Crawford, for 3 off the back of the rim, rebounded by Josh Johnson, stripped away, saves possession. The Jet for 3 from the right wing. Oh, it's beautiful. That is 3 straight threes for our team. We are 3-0 at this mark.
And that was the best look he's had, and I don't know if he's going to get another look like that, but you'd like to see him hit his first 2 threes to see where he can go from here.
Mavs up 16-7, 8:57 and counting in the first quarter for Rochester, trying to answer back. Off the back of the iron, Corey Allman. Missed, rebounded by Josh. He's going coast to coast, goes in for the shot. He was hacked but not called. Butler goes in for the rebound, and over the back of Coker for the Razorsharks. Turnover back to the Rochester Razorsharks.
Yeah, Josh Johnson there pushing the initiative a little bit, taking it into the 7-footer, maybe trying to get them into a little bit of foul trouble. Unfortunately, they didn't call it.
Now the Mavs are going with Jackie Butler, Anthony Jackson, Josh Johnson, Nick Waddell, and Robert Crawford. That's that same starting lineup, 2 games in a row that gave Ohio Bootleggers fits last week.
Yeah, he definitely liked what he saw out of those starting lineups, and it seems to be working for him to start this game as well.
Oh, and just like that, Mavs with the strip, the steal, and Robert Crawford with the 10-foot jump shot. Mavs extend their lead to 11, 18-7, 8:22 remaining in this contest. Folks, you do not want to miss this match. You have plenty of time to get to the Sports Center. Right now, about 2,500 people in attendance. There are actually still people streaming in as we speak.
Yeah, if you have a chance, you got to come check this out. If you're listening, if you're not listening, tell people we need to pack this place out. Get it as full as we can. Not that it's not a good turnout so far.
And you also will have an opportunity to see our Mavs tomorrow afternoon, 4 p.m. against the Pennsylvania Dream, also known as the Du Bois Dream. Our coverage all season long is being brought to you by Schwartz Heating and Cooling, the official sponsor of Kentucky Mavs basketball. Right now, a hack on Coker for the Razorsharks. He's at the line. He converts on both free throws. 18-9. Mavs leading by 9, 8:13 remaining in the first quarter. Mavs back on the attack. That starting lineup that gave them fits last week. just into the game. Big G, Gerard Devon, and from the free throw line, it's Josh Johnson with the pull-up jumper, and he gets the shooter's roll.
Yeah, Big G checking in after Jackie Butler, picking up 2 quick fouls. Might be a good time to get him some rest. Let's hope Big G can keep up that momentum that they've had at the start of this game.
Mavs leading by 11, 29, 7:50 and counting on the clock, and their defense is swarming the strip just like that. We got a 2-on-2. The Jet takes it coast to coast, misses the lay-in. Rebound by Allman for Rochester. He's going to try and push it, and he does go coast to coast and misses his layup. Rebounded by Big G, Gerard Devon. Gets it up to Anthony the Jet with the oop to Josh Johnson. Oh, he could not convert, but Waddell's for the rebound and the putback. Mavs up 22-9.
Fast-paced game right now, up and down, both teams, not letting anything out of it. And if it's going to be that type of game all night long, you hope that the Mavs can outlast what the Razorsharks playing last night.
And as you can notice just from the first few minutes of this game, James, they tried going beef to beef, trying to beat on us down low. That didn't work. Now they're trying to match the speed to speed, and we're still outrunning them.
Yeah, they're just trying to see if they can find any weaknesses in the Mavs D, and right now they're not showing any.
Right now on the floor for our Kentucky Mavs, Josh Johnson, Gerard Devon, Anthony Jet Jackson, Nick Waddell, and Robert Crawford. Rochester going left to right, back on the attack. Crouch with the pull-up 3, misses, rattles out, but a rebound by number 12, James Helton, gets the ball out to that dangerous man, Corey Allman, who hit those 2 outside shots earlier to get him on the board. From 16 feet away, number 44, Coker with the missed rebound by Robert Crawford into the hands of Jet. Back to Crawford, top of the arc, drives down the lane, dishes to Waddell from the right wing, thinks twice about it, pulls back outside the arc, down to the right corner, into the hands of Robert Crawford, who goes into the lane for the floater, off the front of the iron, rebound by Coker for Rochester, and almost throws it away, but Allman saves it for the Rochester Razorsharks.
And it's continuing there as Corey Allman lays it in. It's fast-paced. It's not slowing down at all. So you see Coker down there with his hands on his knees. It's probably going to play a factor in this game.
And the Mavs don't look the least bit winded, and that's good for us. And bam, just like that, 4 straight three-pointers for the Mavs. Waddell from the top of the arc. Mavs leading 25-11, up by 14, 6:13 remaining in the first quarter.
And that was Waddell passed on the three-pointer in the possession before, and he wasn't going to pass on it a second time. He nailed that one.
Interception by the Jet into the lane on the pass. Advances it to Johnson down the left side of the lane. Goes in for the layup. Missed. Almost a tip back in by Big G. Gerard Devon rebounded by the Razorsharks. Helton tries to push it up court. Pulls up from the right elbow. Missed. Rebounded by Waddell. Mavs going right to left. Waddell takes it across the timeline. Across court to unguarded. Josh Johnson goes in, partially tipped. Gets his own rebound and a putback, and we're seeing the same thing we saw from Ohio last week. They're flustered. They don't know what to do.
Yeah, no, and that was just great vision there by Waddell, seeing the back cut wide open. Unfortunately, it was blocked, but it gets it right back, puts it in, and they're not letting up.
Mavs leading by 16, 27-11, 5:21 remaining in the first quarter. 4-3. When you see a big man taking three-pointers, that means they don't know what to do. They're trying anything.
Yeah, and he's been trying all night. The Mavs are doing great on defense by letting him show that he can shoot it, and he hadn't done that, so they're going to keep backing off from him.
Rochester and the Mavs trading missed three-point attempts. Ends up in the hands of number 2, Corey Allman. Drives in, gets the bucket, and Big G, Gerard Devon, called for the foul. He will be going to the line for an and one. We have a timeout on the floor. And with that, we're going to take timeout for a 1-minute commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro will be right back. Welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, everyone. Kevin Porter, James Herzog. Very honored. You know, I'm so stunned, James, by everything going on here. How we have raced to a 14-point lead, 27-13. It's just like I have so many thoughts going through my head. I can't keep my tongue straight.
I know, they're just racing through your mind. It's hard to pick everything up with as fast as I'm doing it too now. It's fast paced.
Exactly, it's worn off.
This game's been going, and some subs in here for the Mavericks. Let's just hope that this intensity can keep up.
You know, and should the Mavs pull off the victory, and we're not going to get too cocky or arrogant because Coach Tucker does not like that. We hold on to win. That's going to serve notice to the BBL. Because everybody thought Rochester was a team to beat, and we're trying to make a statement tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Rochester coming in undefeated, and then the Mavericks losing their first game. Of course, everybody's going to think the Razorsharks are the team to beat, so this will be a terrific win for the Mavs if they can pull it off.
Right now, Rochester going for full court pressure. Does not happen. Ends up in the hands of just into the game. Marcus Filial, Mark Crane, Ben Vizzola. Nick Waddell pulls up for the 16-foot jump shot. Extends the Mavs lead to 15, 29, 14. 4:42 remaining in the first quarter. Rochester back on the attack. Jarice Crouch across the line. We've got an offensive foul.
Yeah, big man, 7-footer down there trying to clear the lane, and Big G's doing smart work down there, showing the refs that he can't be pushed around.
Always keep those arms straight up, right, James?
Exactly.
You know that.
And move those feet.
And move those feet. That's the big thing right there. On the court for the Mavs, our Kentucky Mavs, Marcus Filial, also known as Philly, Dick Waddell, another 16-foot jump shot. He is feeling it tonight.
He's in the zone, and he keeps looking. I don't know if it's just him, but he keeps looking at the Razorsharks bench every time he makes a move. He doesn't think that they can guard him.
17-point lead, 17-point lead, 31-14. Bailey from the top of the arc tries to answer with the three, rattles out, picked up by Filial, working the ball across timeline, gets it back to that hot hand man, Nick Waddell, dumps it down low to Gerard Devon, who pulls. That's the second foul, I believe, on their big man on Coker. And if we get rid of Coker, they're going to be hurting. So he's our number one big man.
Yeah, you mentioned before the size that they have with him at 7 foot, and then Coker at 6'11". If we can get them in the foul trouble and feed it into our big guys, it's going to be troublesome for them.
Into the game for the Razorsharks, Dominic Woodson making his first appearance. Mavs back on the attack. Ball into the hands of Big G, working on the low left block with the spin move, the turnaround, and we had a push call. Foul on Woodson. He's in here 5 seconds. You get a foul.
They're just having trouble with our bigs. They got the size too, but they're just, I don't know, they just can't handle us. They got to keep their hands off for sure.
Mavs with the inbounds. Right now on the court for our Kentucky Mavs, that guy who last week will not be intimidated, Ben Vizzola, Marcus Filial, Mike Crane, Nick Waddell, and Big G, Gerard Devon.
Yeah, we just want to make sure Vizzola makes it through the whole game this time. We hate to see him have to be thrown out last game.
But I love the intensity. I love the fact that he was not going to allow himself to be pushed around by the bootleggers.
Exactly, and that definitely carries over to his game. That's a style of play that he has, and it works for him.
In the lane, Waddell with the spin move. Goes up, it's stripped, knocked out of bounds off his own feet. Turnover back to the Rochester Razorsharks. Our Mavs leading by 17, 31-14, 3:47 remaining in the first quarter. Folks, it is the number one ranked Rochester Razorsharks, the number 2 ranked our Kentucky Mavs. And James, if we have our way about it, that's going to change tonight.
Yeah, we definitely want to see the Mavs come out on top and take over that number 1 spot and hold on to that for the rest of the season.
Now, one more time. They've got the biggest of their big men in the game. Number 35 just came in. Dominic Woodson, he almost took a 3, but it was missed, rebounded into the hands of Filial, pushing the ball down the lane, dumps it off to Big G, knocked out of bounds, stripped out of his hand by James Helton. Mavs retain possession, 17 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Our Mavs leading by 17, 31-14, 3:24 remaining in this contest, going right to left on the radio dial. Filial just inside the three-point arc, rattles out, rebounded by Dominic Woodson, gets the ball into the hands of number 2, that man who's shown himself to be dangerous from that lower left corner, Corey Allman.
Yeah, he's definitely getting it all done for the Razorsharks tonight. Nobody else seems to be able to find their game, and he's just picking it up.
Actually, that was Crouch. He tried to make a move. Filial with the block. And just like that. Oh, that was such a bad call. Just into the game, Dominic Woodson for the 12-foot jump shot. Clean block by Big G, Gerard Devon, but was called for the foul, so Dominic Woodson will be going to the free throw line.
I think the ref was kind of anticipating contact there and had blown his whistle, so he had to stick with it after that. But it seemed to be all ball, but whenever you're going up to try and block a jump shooter, it's always tough.
Don't you hate it when those refs are all worried about posing out there, trying to make themselves look good? Oh, no, that wasn't me. I didn't make a bad call. That was the players. Yeah, it wasn't my fault.
Yeah, they're a part of the game, too, whether we like it or not.
Exactly.
But we just hope that they can do their best, and they usually do.
Well, you know, we wanted to go the route of using robots, but sometimes they go haywire and start shooting everybody, and we can't have that happen. We're talking Terminator stuff there, James.
Exactly, and human error, I mean, it's a part of the game so much as where if you didn't have it, it wouldn't be the same.
Ball inbounded after converting on 1 of 2. Mavs leading 31-15, 16-point lead. Mavs back across the court, going right to left on your radio dial. Filia over to Vizzola from the right wing. Three-pointer, off the back, into the hands of Dominic Woodson. Gets it over to Allman, back over to, just into the game. Number 5, John Ivey for the Rochester Razorsharks. Dumps the ball off back into the hands of that man who's been giving us fits from that corner. Number 11, Melvin Council. They go inside, and they are getting tied up. They are so flustered. That was just a Hail Mary, 10-foot jump shot by Ivy, and he got lucky that went in.
Yeah, that was a tough shot, but if you're looking over these stats here, he's actually leading the PBL in field goal percentage. So I don't know I know they didn't start him, but he might be that spark off the bench that they like to have.
Miscommunication between Ben Vizzola and Nick Waddell. Ball thrown away, turnover back to the Razorsharks. But we're going to take time out for this 1-minute commercial break after we remind you. You're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game, ESPN Owensboro. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, everyone. Kevin Porter, James Herzog bringing you all the exciting action as our number 2 ranked Kentucky Mavs take on the number 1 ranked Rochester Razorsharks. Right now, our Mavs leading by 14, 31-17. 2:20 remaining in the opening quarter of this contest. This is the 7th game of the season for our Mavs, right now at 5-1. Last night, the Razorsharks, they were on the road playing the Ohio Bootleggers, a team we beat by 30 a week ago Thursday. Only playing off the 6-point win, so I'm wondering if that travel's not having an effect on their endurance.
It definitely has to. Whether or not they let it affect them in this game and they feel it tomorrow, there's no way you go into such a tight game like that and have to travel that far, come here and play the next day that it doesn't affect you.
Right now, the Mavs going with Anthony the Jet Jackson and Drew Christian, who had a career game last time. Big G, Josh Johnson, and back into the game, Robert Crawford. Ivy has a quick turnaround jumper to cut the lead to 12, 31-19, 159 and counting. Mavs back on the attack. Lower left block, Gerard Devon turns around, draws that second foul against Dominic Woodson.
And that's a smart play right there in the post by Big G. Opening up, keeping the ball low, showing it to the defense, and then as soon as he stuck his hand in there, wrapped him up, and that's only something that smart post players know how to do.
And their 2 most effective big men right now are in foul trouble, and we're not even through the first quarter, so that's a good thing for the Mavs.
Definitely a good sign for the Mavs, as you know more than anybody how much size they have.
Gerard Devon at the line for the first of 2, nothing, but Ned extends the lead to 13, 32-19. Mavs leading with 1:55 remaining in the first quarter. Now our Mavs will be back in action tomorrow afternoon, 4 p.m., hosting the Pennsylvania, also known as the Du Bois Dream.
Yeah, and Robert Crawford and James Johnson back into the game. Hopefully they keep that defensive intensity up with their length that they have and keep it up for the Mavs.
Mavs answer on both of those taken by Big G, up by 14, 33-19, 148 and counting. Allman for the Rochester Razorsharks getting tied up, tries to dump it down low to Dominic. He has nothing. He's got 3 Mavs on him. They're almost getting that ball, swatted it away every time they try to feed inside. Oh, and Dominic turns around for the shot, blocked by Big G, into the hands of Crawford, advances it to the Jet. Jet down to the left lower corner to Christian, who goes cross court from the free throw line. Oh, yeah, a little bank shot from that man, Robert Crawford.
And he got hit in the back there, too. That was a tough shot.
I love seeing guys shoot bank shot. That's a lost art, though, James.
I know, right? You usually only see it from the sides, but that one was head on.
Ivy with the jump shot, misses, gets his own rebound, feeds it over to number 11. Melvin Council for three, missed, rebounded. And right now I think they're just throwing anything up, James, trying to get something going on offense.
Yeah, they're trying to get a spark. The Mavs came out here and hit him in the mouth, and they're trying to see if they can get anything going.
The Jet for three, rattles out, rebounded by Gerard Devon. Back up and in. And he will be going to the line. Mavs extend their lead to 18. 37-19, 54.4 seconds remaining in the first quarter. I'm loving what I'm seeing, James.
And that's the great thing we mentioned all season, the train, right?
That's right.
One man gets in foul trouble or one man needs a rest, the other one comes in and gets it done as well.
You know, every team we played so far has tried to match us like that, but none of them can go 10, 11, and 12 deep and still not have any let-off.
No, I'm very confident in saying that the Mavs has the best depth of any team in the PBL.
And not just because they pay us, but because
Exactly.
we know it to be a fact.
That's the truth.
Mavs back on, Rochester back on the attack. Mavs up with their largest lead of the game, 38-19. 49 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Rochester going left to right with the ball, going to try and work some time off of the clock. 12 seconds on the shot clock for Rochester. Council gets the screen, tries it down the lane, loses control, into the hands of Gerard. He is pushing the 3-on-2 run. Oh, he gets the strip from behind, but Christian saves it. Back to the Jet. 17 seconds on the shot clock. 12-second differential between the shot and the game clock. Christian for 12 feet. Off the back of the arm, almost rebounded by Gerard Devon. 5, Ivy pushes it up court. And number 11, Council for three, missed but gets his own rebound. Down low, Dominic with a big slam against one of our players, trying to drive, missed it, into the hands of the Jet. 8 seconds left, goes down the lane, and gets the bucket.
A lot of back and forth basketball right now to finish this game. We just want to finish this stop with 5 seconds left.
Mavs up by 21. 3 seconds remaining in the first quarter against the defending PBL champs, and taking a Hail Mary. John Ivy missed at the end of one. Our Mavs lead by 21 points, 40-19. Folks, we're going to take time out for a 2-minute commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game, ESPN Owensboro. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, everyone. Kevin Porter, James Herzog, bringing you all the exciting action as the #1 Rochester Razorsharks are invading the Sports Center right now. They're down by 21 to 9, down by 21, 40-19.
Yeah, and the Mavs are just all over them right now on the defensive end. After that first quarter, holding them, the Razorsharks to 28% from the field. Coach T was definitely smart by leaving in that same starting lineup.
Back into the lineup for the Razorsharks, going left to right. That man, number 44, picked up two quick fouls. Number 44, Coker, also in the game, 35. Dominic Woodson converted on the missed shot by Coker with the putback, cutting the lead to 19. Mavs leading 40-21. Now our coverage all season long is being brought to you courtesy of our great friends at Shorts Heating and Cooling, the official sponsor of Kentucky Mavs basketball broadcast. Call them today at 270-691-1001. Now, folks, we'll be back on the air tomorrow at approximately 3:45 p.m. 4 p.m. tip-off set as our Mavs playing back-to-back weekend games. Tomorrow against the Pennsylvania Dream. Josh Johnson for the Mavs in the lane. Wheeling and dealing. Turnaround three-pointer. Does not drop for him. Rebounded by Rochester going left to right. Ivy back into the game. The man leading Rochester with shooting percentage trying to convert on a three. And he does. Cutting the lead.
That's 3 for 3 right there for Ivy. He's definitely been a spark plug off the bench, and he's feeling it, trying to get it going for the defensive end.
Mavs going right to left, back on the attack. Back on the court for our Mav. Robert Crawford, Anthony the Jet, Big G Gerard Devon, Andrew Christian, and Josh Johnson. And going in for the 8-foot running floater jumper is Christian, who does draw the foul. And it looks like number 44, Coker, just back into the game, picked up his third foul, and that's a good sign for us.
Yeah, we already got their big man 7-footer in foul trouble, and now getting another big man, basically 7 foot in foul trouble. That's great for us as we have that size.
At the line for the Mavs, who will be shooting two. Andrew Christian, first shot up, and he does convert. And you know, if you watch the Mavs, we have almost a 90% free throw percentage. You can tell they work hard on that because the touch is pure.
Yeah, it's definitely a big part of their game, and that's a great advantage for any basketball team. If they can knock down free throws and play good defense, that's a championship basketball.
Christian converts on both of them. Mavs leading by 18, 42-24, 10:44 remaining in the first half. The Mavs at one point, right at the end of the first, having their largest lead of the game of 21 points, and we are just having our way with this team.
Yeah, they tried to find anything that they could, bringing in players off the bench, and it's just, I mean, they'll hit some shots, but it's just not working. They really can't have no answer on the defensive end for us right now.
Rochester going left to right. Ball inbound into the hands of Ivy, goes cross court into the lower corner, ends up in the hands of number 25, Deverell Biggs. Thinks twice about it going up against Robert Crawford. Gets the screen from Whitson. Stripped by the Jet into the hands of Crawford. Goes down, throws it up, is hacked, but the follow-up put back by the Jet, who the Jet's only 5'10", but he elevated about a 41-inch vertical there.
Yeah, he's definitely an athlete. 5'10", getting up there with that putback slam. It's a shame it didn't count because this crowd would have just erupted, as they pretty much did anyways.
Pretty much did. They went about halfway up. Can we explode? Okay, no.
Yeah.
But we still got the foul. So Robert Crawford is going to the line for the first of two. Mavs leading 42-24. Up by 18. Largest lead of the game for the Mavs was 21. And Crawford converts on the first one, 43-24, 10:28 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, and the Razorsharks are really having to dig into their bench right now as we're getting their bigs in foul trouble.
Now we remind everybody, tomorrow our Mavs will be back in action 4 p.m. right here at the beautiful Owensboro Sports Center hosting the Pennsylvania Dream. James and I'll be on there at approximately 3:45 p.m. with the pregame. And I gave him too much credit. I think I jinxed him on that second free throw, but the Mavs are still leading 43-24. Trying to answer back real quick was Ivy. Missed. Long rebound in the hands of the Jet. Going against Ivy. Ivy knocks it off the foot of the Jet out of bounds. Turnover back to the Rochester Razorsharks.
Yeah, when you're going full speed like that, it's hard sometimes to keep control and just dribble it off his foot. It happens to the best of us.
Rochester going with a 3-4 small, very small lineup. They only got one big in. Everybody else is much smaller. Right now it looks like 3 guards, a small forward, and 1 big man. That in Coker, who's on the court, but he's hanging around the top just for screen for the smaller guys. Yeah,
they're trying to open it up, and Mavs getting them in foul trouble is really helping out right now.
Andrew Christian intercepts the attempt at a cross-court pass into the hands of the Jet. Cuts down the middle. Ivy gets way too close. Fouls the Jet, and the Jet, just for the heck of it, shoots about, what would you say that was, about 24-foot three-pointer?
That was pretty deep. He might hold the record here for after the whistle plays.
Exactly. Hey, that would have been 5 points just in the last couple trips for us down the court, right?
No, it should count.
Mavs retain possession. Josh Johnson will be inbounding the ball. Gets it into the hands of the Jet. Running the offense for the Mavs. On the court for the Mavs. Andrew Christian, Josh Johnson, Big G, Robert Crawford, and Anthony, the Jet Jackson, working against Ivy. Almost gets it stripped. It's a scrum on the floor. They're fighting for it. Jump ball.
It's a second mishandle there for Jackson. He just I think he's getting excited, getting ahead of himself. You like to see that out of the Mavs. As soon as the ball's on the ground, 2 players diving on the floor. That's great effort.
And all season long, Ivy's the first guy I've seen from any of our opponents that's been able to almost hang with the Jet.
Yeah, he's definitely a tough a tough out, offense and defense. He's all over the ball on defense, and he's hitting those shots on offense.
Christian going up against McGill. He wins the tip, gets it in the hands of Robert Crawford. To the Jet, who pulls up for three. Off the front of the rim, rebounded by Coker. Back into the hands of number 11, Council for Rochester. Gets it back in the hands of Ivy, going one-on-one with the Jet, and I'm impressed with the Jet. He's been hanging with Ivy and has not fouled him yet.
Yeah, he's, like we talked about all season long, the athleticism and quickness from Anthony Jackson, able to move those feet laterally and stay in front of his defender without putting his hands on him.
Mavs leading by 17. 43-26, 9:07 remaining in the first half. The Jet looking for the high screen from Big G. Goes down the left side of the lane for the lay-in against Ivy. Mavs up by 19. 45 and just, almost a strip on the inbounds by Crawford there. Mavs leading 45-26, 8:52 remaining in the first half.
You love to see that out of Robert Crawford. He's got those long arms, and like the Mavs do after a made basket, putting that full pressure on, almost paid off for him.
Coker working against Gerard Devine. Tries with a little kind of a mini hook there. It's missed. Rebounded by Josh Johnson. Gets the ball across the court into the hands of Robert Crawford on the left wing. Pulls up for three. Off the back of the iron. Rebounded by Josh Johnson. Gets to Christian. Left corner for three. Oh, pure. That is so pure.
Great movement there by Andrew Christian, all the way on the wing before the shot went up, get the offensive rebound, rotated all the way to the other corner, wide open three, set it up nicely.
Mavs with our largest lead of the game, leading by 22, 48-26, 8:08 remaining in the first half. Rochester just throwing up Hail Marys and hoping anything will drop, and I like how the fact our defense is holding them to pretty much one and done on those shots.
Yeah, and they're just trying to get anything going. It's almost a little selfish right now. Somebody checks in, they're trying to get their shots up, and it's just not working for them.
Folks, we'll take time out for a 1-minute commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game, ESPN Owensboro. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, everyone. Kevin Porter, James Herzog bringing you all the exciting action as our Kentucky Mavs take on the number 1 ranked Rochester Razorsharks. Right now our Mavs leading by 22 points, 48-26, 8:02 remaining in the first half. We grabbed our largest lead of the game at the 8:18 mark of the second quarter, James.
It's really paying off for them right now. You can see the frustration all over the Razorsharks bench right now, getting ready to come into this quarter, and they just trying to get anything to get going.
Yeah, I tell you, I do want to give a shout out though to one of my co-workers. Wanted to come to the game tonight, not feeling good, and she's a diehard Razorshark fan, so I got to give a shout out to Double J, Jessica. Let her know we're thinking about you. Hope you get to feel better. Also, right now we got a couple of the co-workers here at the game from over at Owensboro Radio. Christian and Zach are here taking some of that Steadicam footage. We're going to have some great highlights to show everybody as we go throughout this week. And we're going to do a promo video. When it's game day, we're going to get people really juiced up around here, James.
Yeah, and that's good because I think that's just, we have a great crowd out here tonight, but we really need to expand our exposure and get everybody just to know what type of basketball the Mavericks are playing here.
And right now I think they're making a statement that is going to resound through the PBL that we're taking it to the number 1 ranked team who everybody thought was unbeatable.
Yeah, and like we've talked about, how the Razorsharks have had that schedule on their side, playing at home early on in the season, and you wonder if that didn't have a factor in tonight's game as the Mavericks are just putting it to them.
Back into the contest, that man formerly of the New York Knicks, it is Jackie Butler, who actually gets a second technical called on Coker for 3-second defense, staying in the lane too much, which means we get a free throw and the ball out of the bounds as well. Waddell takes the free throw. Still perfect for the game on free throws, and that extends us to the largest lead of the game, 23 points at the 7:46 mark in the second quarter.
Yeah, and that free throw shooting is never a worry for the Kentucky Mavericks. And you see the defense of 3 seconds there again. These bigs are just getting really frustrated.
Mishandling on the inbounds from the Mavs. Turnover to the Razorsharks, who go down even on a wide open, uncontested layup. Missed. Coker gets the rebound, tries to put it back in with a turnaround. They're just throwing up anything right now, trying to get any kind of offense going.
Yeah, and they're all out of sorts. You see right there, they had a great fast break play, bounce pass for the layup, blows a wide open layup, and then just threw something up there off the offensive rebound. They're struggling.
On the floor for the Mavs right now, it's Nick Waddell, Mike Crane, Ben Vazzola, the Jet, and Jackie Butler in for 3. Crane off the front, but rebounded by Butler, goes back up. Oh, no. He would have had an and one, but Mike Crane got a little overzealous there and touched the ball inside the rim.
Yeah, great offensive rebound there by Jackie Butler, turn and putting it back up. That's unfortunate play, but at least you like to see the Mavericks crashing the offensive glass.
Hey, you cannot fault anybody for effort, that's for sure, because Crane was like, I'm not taking any chances, and every one of these guys must have like a 40-inch vertical.
It seems that way, doesn't it? They're all flying around.
Jackie Butler, former NBA star for the Knicks and the Spurs, on the first free throw just rolls out. Mavs leading by 23. Their largest lead of the game for the Mavs against the number 1 ranked Rochester Razorsharks. Folks, our coverage all season long is being brought to you courtesy of Schwartz Heating and Cooling. Call them today at 270-691-1001. Hey, when you call Schwartz, ask for Dan. I know the guy's a great guy. He'll love to come out and help you. Back to the action. Razorsharks going left to right on your radio dial. Mavs now leading by 24, 50-26, as we have 6:57 remaining in the first half of the game.
Yeah, and you see John Ivey doing most of the work here on the offense for the Razorsharks as they put in an easy layup. And Corey Allman was doing all that work at the first part, and we haven't seen him since midway in that first quarter.
Yeah, I think he got a little frustrated because he cannot work against even our number 1 and 2. Butler back in the left lower block, gets 2 guys on him, dishes it out to Marcus Philly from Kentucky Wesleyan, formerly Happy Osborne squad with the 3, missed, rebound into the hands of Biggs. Biggs working against Mike Crane. He's got Waddell on him. Waddell goes for the strip. Is called for the foul. Number 25, Deverell Biggs, will be going to the line.
Yeah, and he put the move on Mike Crane. That was a nice crossover. Just got in, and Waddell had no other choice but to foul him there.
And you know from having played yourself, I mean, you're still only, 2 years removed from playing college ball, right?
Yep.
Crossover.
This is the 3rd year, yeah.
You've got to have a good crossover these days if you're handling the ball. That's a necessity. You know, it used to be like a novelty. Now it's a necessity.
Yeah, 3 tough moves you got to have. You got to have the crossover, the in and out, and the hesitation. Those are essential for ball handlers.
The hesitation never worked for me, though, man. 'Cause I always started taking a little bit of a nap, and next thing I know, I was getting yelled at, you know.
Hey, it happens.
When I hesitate, I start looking at the crowd. Next thing I know, my coach is yelling at me.
Hesitate too long, it can hurt you.
That's probably why I lost my scholarship to UK, too. But we don't want to talk about that. It got really ugly, you know.
I understand.
Mavs leading by 20, 50-30. 6:15 remaining in the first half. Waddell running the attack. Top of the arc going up against number 14, Jordan Rayleigh. Gets it down low to Mike Crane. Tries to feed it back to him. It's stripped into the hands of Biggs. Pulls up for 3. Oh, air ball out of bounds. Turnover back to the Mavs. They're getting so far ahead of themselves, James, that they cannot take even good shots. Not that that's a bad thing.
No, I mean, they're making good defensive plays and trying to get it to work, transition over in offense, and I guess they see that lead, they're down by 20, and they're trying to make big shots when really you got to chip away at it.
Mavs going with Marcus Philly, Nick Waddell, Ben Vazzola, Jackie Butler working down low in the lane against that man. Dele, I'm going to stop trying to try that. Dele Coker, yeah. Dele Coker picks up his 3rd foul, and I love that there are only 2 real reliable big men are now in foul trouble.
Yeah, they're frustrated all over. They're yelling at each other, yelling at their own coaches now. They don't know what to do with our Mavs bigs.
All right, we've got a timeout on the court with our Mavs leading by 20, 50-30, 5:50 remaining in the first half. We'll be back after we take timeout for this 1-minute commercial break. After we remind you, you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro will be right back.
health and fitness partner of the Kentucky Mavericks.
Welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center. Hello, everyone. Kevin Porter, James Herzog, the voices of Kentucky Mavs basketball, where the Mavs are leading by 20, 50-30 over the defending back-to-back PBL champs, the Rochester Razorsharks. Folks, we will be back in action and on the air tomorrow at 3:45 p.m., 4 p.m. tip-off as our Mavs have back-to-back games tomorrow against the Pennsylvania Dream. Currently, the Mavs. And we're getting production from everybody we have on the floor, James. It's just, I'm loving the fact that that great game we saw 9 days ago against the Ohio Bootleggers, that same flow, that same confidence, that same efficiency on offense is there.
Yeah, and it's really all starting on the defensive end for him. And we're just, well, it's good to see, like you said, how last game it wasn't just a fluke. This is typical Maverick basketball, and they're getting it done with everybody on the court.
Mike Crane, Nick Waddell, with a little give and go, ball is stripped back into the hands of the Rochester Razorsharks, down by 20. 5:33 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, Waddell with a little trip trying to run his way back into defense and find a man.
And we just had a foul, unfortunately. Look like, I'm just trying to look at the number because they wear those dark blue uniforms and they have black numbers on them. And looks like Rayleigh Jordan will be going to the line. Nope, my bad. That was Allman. Corey Allman will be going to the line. 4-3 was fouled by Marcus Filial there. Went up to try for the block. On the court for our Mavs, going right to left on your radio dial. Mike Crane, Ben Vazzola, Jackie Butler, Nick Waddell, and Marcus, you can call him Filial, formerly just graduated from Kentucky Wesleyan, and Happy Osborne squad. Also having a great season. They won again today on the road.
Yeah, we spoke about this earlier on the radio show, them being ranked 14th, and they're having a great season, and you love to see that out of Kentucky Wesleyan, a primetime Owensboro team, and everybody pulls behind them.
Back into the game. Anthony the Jet Jackson got a brief breather there. He's back into the game now for the Mavs. Looks like Marcus Filial is going to be taking a seat, catch his breath a little bit. Mavs leading by 19. Allman at the lane trying to convert on 2 free throws, and he does, cutting the lead to 18. Mavs up 50-32, 5:24 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, and Filial, they're just trying to get his legs underneath him. He seems a little bit out of sorts, and have time to think about it on the bench and get back out there and produce.
Mavs back on the attack into the hands of Ben Vazzola. Got hacked there from the 8-footer. Turnover back to the Rochester Razorsharks with the breakaway and a quick 2-pointer to cut the lead to 16, 50-34. And Coach Steve Tucker has seen enough, called a timeout. It's only going to be a 20-second timeout. Folks, we want to remind you, our coverage all season long is being brought to you courtesy of Shorts Heating and Cooling, the official sponsor of our Kentucky Mavericks broadcast. Call them at 270-691-1001 to schedule a maintenance check today. We'll be back on the air tomorrow afternoon, 3:45 pregame, 4 p.m. tip-off as our Mavs play host to the Pennsylvania Dream.
Yeah, and Coach T, they're not letting them get any type of spark to find their way back into this game because they just had 4 straight points, and we basically gave them those 4 points with fouling on a 3 and then not getting back in transition, giving up a wide-open dunk.
Yeah, some sloppy passing, too, there. They're getting a little overzealous, and that kind of caught up to him, and Coach Tucker did not like what he was seeing on the court. Lead cut to 16. 50-34, Mavs back on the attack. Across the timeline, it is that man, Anthony the Jet Jackson, who has been giving fits to Jarice Crouch all game, has not been able to keep up with him. Ball dumped into the lane, into Waddell. He powers up for the layup, missed. Tip back up by Mike Crane, no good. Ends up in the hands of the Jet, who is tripped by Coker. And that's probably, no, I'm sorry, it's Jordan Rayleigh.
Yeah. And that's his third foul.
That is his third foul, so now their 2 key big men have 3 fouls on them, and we still have 4:42 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. You like to see if the Mavs can take advantage of that and really punch it inside the rest of this half.
It is a shooting foul, so the Jet looks like he's holding that thigh. Hopefully nothing serious that will hold over because we got a lot of basketball to play this weekend. He will be going to the lane. We're to the line, 4-3, with our Mavs leading 50-34, up by 16. The Mavs at one point had a 24-point lead at the 7:02 mark of the second quarter.
And that was just a really tough hit there for Jackson. I mean, he's every bit of 5'10", and just running full speed into the hip of Jordan Rayleigh, who stands 7 foot tall, 265 pounds. It's just going to take a lot out of you.
And right now, they're still going with a much smaller lineup for the Razorsharks. They're trying to hope maybe speed can negate our size and athleticism, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah, either that or they don't really have any other options. It seems like all their size is getting into foul trouble trying to handle ours, and it's not working out for them.
Jet does convert on 2, still holding that thigh, though. Hopefully it was just a little bit of a bump, and he'll work it off as he continues to move around. Mavs up by 18, 52-34. Rochester back on the attack going left to right. Ball ends up trying to dump it down low into the hands of number 10. McGill does not. Back over to number 2, Corey Allman with the give and go. Down the left side of the lane, he is hacked, does not get the lay-in, but will be going to the line for 2. Josh Johnson picks up his second foul.
Yeah, and that's tough because that action they had right there really shouldn't have worked. It almost seemed like they were running that old Globetrotters offense, running around in circles, and all you had to do is stand and help defense, and we were just trailing them there.
Either that or we've confused them so much they're just running in circles because they have nothing else that's working for them tonight.
That could be it, too.
Allman at the line converts on the first of 2, cuts the lead to 17, 52-35, 4:22 remaining in the first half. Folks, Kevin Porter, James Herzog, we will be back on the back on the air tomorrow, calling you all the exciting action as our Mavs play host to the Pennsylvania, also known as the Du Bois Dream. He does convert on those 2 free throws, Allman, cutting the lead to 16, 52-34, 36. Mavs back on the attack. From the right wing, Josh Johnson fakes the 3, pulls up from the top of the key, misses but gets his own rebound. Gets the ball out, but it is intercepted by Corey Allman. Council, who takes it down, dishes it off into the hands of Rayleigh, who misses the lay-in. It is up with a putback. McGill to cut the lead to 14, and you don't want to give them any kind of momentum heading into the
definitely not going to half
into the halftime.
And just like that, these pesky guards playing in on Waddell and drew the offensive foul on him with him pushing off. It's just the momentum's starting to shift, and you just want to take advantage of that. The Mavs need to just pick it up on defense and cut out this momentum.
Exactly. They've got to keep it going because you do not want to go into halftime with doubts in your own mind, especially against a team you were dominating by at one point, 24 points. Mavs leading by 14, 52-38, 3:41 remaining in the first half. Rochester back on the attack, working around the perimeter.
You see what I'm talking about, this action right here? It looks like
they're just running in a circle. Whoever gets the ball, the other 4 guys just start circling around trying to free anybody up.
Yeah, they run up to the wing, and then if they don't have it, then they back cut, and the back cut, I guess, what they got last time.
Now, we thought we had a shot clock violation on a putback by number 33, Sidney Holmes, but they do give him credit for it, so they have cut the lead to 12, and this is not looking good for our Mavs with 3:13 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a drought here, and the Razorsharks picking it up on defense with a little bit of a trap. Just got to get something this possession.
The Jet with a give and go to Gerard Devon, who pulls up for the 8-footer miss, bounces off, almost rebounded by Waddell, but does not. It ends up into the hands of number 11, Council. Council down the left side of the lane. It is swatted away by Josh Johnson, but Waddell gets called for a foul, and that's 2 quick fouls on Waddell.
Yeah, I think they gave it to Big G there, just in bad position, and didn't really have anything he could do and ran right into him.
And Coach Tucker has called a timeout. He is not happy. You can see the red in his face. Even assistant head coach Sarah Gaylor, she's looking displeased because that lead at one point was 24. It's been cut to 12. 52-40, 2:53 remaining in the first half. Folks, we're going to take timeout for a 1-minute commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro will be right back. Welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center. Kevin Porter, James Herzog bringing you all the exciting action as our Kentucky Mavs leading by 12, but at one point we're leading by 24 as the Rochester Razorsharks, James, are clawing their way back into it, and you've been alluding to the fact it looks like they're almost doing an old Globetrotter thing where one guy grabs the ball, the other 4 run in a circle, trying to free themselves any way they can, but unfortunately for us, it's working.
Yeah, and we thought that getting their bigs into foul trouble was going to play to the Mavs' advantage, but like you said, these quick guards in here, getting them with these back cuts and everything, it's actually worked out for them, and now they're cut the lead down to 12 with the chance to cut it to 10 here at the free throw line.
And Council does convert on the first of 2 free throws, cutting the lead to 11, 52-41. 2:53 remaining in the first half. It's number 1 Rochester versus number 2 Kentucky. Folks, we want to remind you our coverage is being brought to you by Schwartz Heating and Cooling, as it will be all season long. Council misses a second. Mavs up by 11, 2:49 remaining in the first half. The Jet, Josh Johnson, into the game. Brandon McGee for the jumper, missed, rebounded by Robert Crawford, gets it to Waddell. Back to the top of the arc to the Jet, goes for the 3 off the front of the rim. Rebound by Rochester. Game ball into the hands of Crouch. Pushes it up the left side of the line, trying to dump it down low with this very small lineup. And unfortunately, I didn't think a small lineup would hurt us, but it has been. Anthony the Jet Jackson with the strip, pushing it up court, gets it in the hands of Josh Johnson. Back to the right wing to Anthony, top of the arc to Waddell. Back to the left wing to Brandon McGee, down low on the left block, in to Robert Crawford. Kicks it back out to McGee, into the hands of the Jet. McGee almost shoots a 3, but he gets it low, right block, into the hands of Josh Johnson. Turnaround off the side of the backboard. He gets his own rebound, goes for 3. Yes, that's what we needed. We had a dry spell there. And they should have called a foul there as well.
I know he had looked like he got fouled in the first shot going off the side of the backboard, but to pick it up and realize that the shot clock was down and chuck up that shot and hit it, that was tough.
And that quickly, the Rochester Razorsharks answer back. Melvin Council down low, but Mavs are still leading by 11, 140 remaining in the first half, 17 seconds on the shot clock. Our Mavs looking to get anything going right now after a very dry spell from 16 foot with the jump shot. It's Robert Crawford, missed, rebounded by the Rochester Razorsharks. And James, we cannot keep having these one-shot trips down the court.
No, just getting, whether it's in the post or from the 3, they're just getting like one pass and jump shot. And if you were anybody, I know I heard it all the way from over here, and I'm sure anybody around the bench heard it. Coach T that whole time out was practically digging into his team, the Mavericks, yelling at them to drive to the basket over and over. And then they come out of the timeout and shooting jump shots. It's almost like it's just not sinking in for them.
Crouch for the Rochester Razorsharks. That being Jarice Crouch at the line for the first of 2. Missed it. And now we'll get one more, trying to cut the lead to 10. Mavs leading by 11 after moving ahead 24 points at the 7:02 mark in the second quarter. Crouch for the second one. That missed as well. Rebounded by Waddell. Waddell in the Jet. Oh no! Sloppy pass into the hands of Rochester. Pulls up for 3. Oh my Lord!
That's Corey Allman from that spot.
Allman, number 2, and they have just totally lost their focus. I mean, that's just sloppy play, one-shot trips. They're just throwing the ball away. They're not communicating, and now the lead has been cut to 10, or 8 actually, after that three-pointer. 54-46. 58 seconds remaining in the first half. Brandon McGee working in the lane, turning around, beautiful move with the right hand, drops it in, up by 10, 51 seconds remaining with the Mavs playing the number 1 Rochester Razorsharks. Crouch for 3, missed it off the side, but we've got a rebound by number 3 Holmes.
And I think they call the foul on Waddell there.
They call Waddell for a foul. And that's not good because he picked up his 3rd foul of the first half with 43 seconds remaining. And we cannot afford to get Waddell into foul trouble up off the bench. Andrew Christian, got to give Waddell a rest. We'll see what coach is thinking right now for the last 43.3 seconds of the first half.
Yeah, and you really just got to get you a good shot on this offensive possession, and then make sure that you get a stop on defense and don't give up any offensive rebound, giving them momentum running into the half.
Sidney Holmes at the line for the Rochester Razorsharks, cuts the lead to 9, 56-47, hitting the first of 2. And, you know, the one difference between this game and the game a week ago Thursday where we played Ohio, we were playing the same way, but we did not let off right before the end of the half, and that's what killed them. They had nothing left by the end of the first half.
Exactly. There was no drop-off there going into the half, and it didn't drop off the whole game. So let's just hope we can get a nice little spark here at the end of the half, and I'm sure Coach T will get into him at halftime.
Mavs leading by 8, 56-48, 34 seconds on the remaining in the first half. 20-second difference between the shot clock. The Jet to the right elbow. Has the ball stripped away up in the air. Once again, sloppy play. Turnover back into the hands of the Rochester Razorsharks. Number 12, James Helton gets into it. Tangled up with the ref. He gets knocked down, loses the ball out of bounds. Looks like the referee is fine, but he did lose control of the ball out of bounds. Turnover with 18.7 seconds remaining in the first half. What was once a 24-point lead has been cut to 8. Mavs leading 56-48, 18.7 seconds remaining in the first half.
And you see the Razorsharks here picking up in this full court, what was a half-court trap. Since they've had this smaller lineup, they've really been pushing on the trap, and it's just affected the Mavs big time. As you saw Waddell just throw the ball away that one time down the court.
Right now on the court for our Kentucky Mavs, Brandon McGee, Josh Johnson, Robert Crawford, Anthony the Jet Jackson, and Andrew Christian. All right, we need one final good trip down the court to go into halftime on a very positive note. Oh, and another sloppy pass cross court. It was tipped out of bounds by Rochester. Possession remains with the Mavs, 12 seconds on the clock, and they're still, despite 3 timeouts in this quarter by Coach Steve Tucker, they're still just sloppy. They're playing sloppy.
They're not getting it. They're not keeping their cool, not keeping their heads, and they're just letting it go on offense, and they got to really focus in here with the last few seconds to get a good shot.
6 seconds remaining on the clock. The Jet working against down the left side of the lane with the fingertip roll into the bucket. 1.3 seconds remaining, up by. And a Hail Mary, almost converted for Almond. Folks, at the end of the first half of this contest, as our Kentucky Mavs play host to the Rochester Razorsharks, and we got some pushing out on the court as the teams crisscross heading to their respective. Oh boy, we do not need this. As they're heading to their, now the players are intervening, trying to keep things settled down. Oh, and we got double technicals. And we're walking off the court for halftime. These guys get into a double technical call. It looks like they'll be assessed at the start of the third quarter or the second half. Mavs only leading by 10, and yes, the head ref just confirmed it is a double technical, and all the players were doing was walking to their respective locker rooms, but they had to cross each other's paths. There was some jawing going on. Number 4, Coker, was getting into it with one of our players, and I'm not happy with what I saw the second part of that second half because we lost. We blew a 24-point lead with 7:02 remaining in the first half.
I know, and that's just crazy. The way that the Mavericks were playing the basketball, where it was working from defense to offense, it looked so pretty, and then all of a sudden it's like you would think that getting their bigs in the foul trouble would play to our advantage, being able to really force the initiative down in the post. But it actually backfired, and they got a lot going, and Mavs couldn't get anything on offense.
All right, folks, you are listening to the broadcast, courtesy of Schwartz Heating and Cooling of Kentucky Mavs basketball. Tomorrow we'll be back on the air at 3:45 p.m. with the pregame, 4 p.m. tip-off for our Kentucky Mavs against the Pennsylvania Dream. Right now it is halftime. Our Mavs leading by 10, 58-48. We're going to take time out for a 3-minute commercial break. When we come back, James is going to recap the first half stats. After that, we'll come back and give you a little bit of a preview as we go into the second half of this matchup. The number 1 Rochester Razorsharks versus our number 2 ranked Kentucky Mavs. Folks, you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
Want me to throw it to a 2-minute or 3-minute break? Does it matter?
3 after you get done.
Okay.
One more round of applause for our Lady Mavs dance team, powered by Junior Primary Care and Advanced Cardiology. February the 25th, the Lady Mavs will be hosting their Dance First Think Later Kids Camp from 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. For more information, check out the Lady Mavs page on the Kentucky Mavericks website. And now let's welcome the Green River Area Down Syndrome Dancers.
Welcome back, Mavs fans. You are listening to 102.7 The Game, ESPN Owensboro, brought to you by Schwartz Heating and Cooling, the official sponsor of Owensboro Kentucky Mavericks and home of the best price guarantee. This is James Herzog, and for you, those of you just now tuning in, or if you've been listening along the way the whole time with myself and Kevin Porter, the Mavs holding on to a 10-point lead going in the half, 58-48. After leading by one time by 24 points, the Rochester Razorsharks were able to find a spark after their big men, Jordan Rayleigh and Dele Coker, got into foul trouble. They really took over. They started forcing the pressure on defense, starting with a half-court trap, leading into a full-court trap, and it really seemed to turn around the momentum of the game. But luckily, the Mavericks were able to hold on to a 10-point lead. And for the Mavericks, it's really all their starters, which is not typical from them. They're usually getting it done with every single member of the team, as we've spoken on all year long, calling it the train. One man goes out, the next one comes in, and there's been no drop-off. But tonight, it's been all starters. Anthony Jackson with 14 points. Nicholas Waddell, Mr. Double-Double, with only 11 and 4. Got his work cut out for him here in the second half, as he has 3 fouls, picked up a third one late there in the second half. So he's going to have to stay out of foul trouble to make it through the end of this game. And then Josh Johnson coming in with 9 points. But the good thing is they had that 40-point first quarter, holding the Razorsharks to only 28% from the field. And if it wasn't for that, that second quarter would have been detrimental for the Mavericks. So Coach T is definitely ripping into him here at halftime. It's going to be very interesting to see what they come out with here in the second half. And we know that the second half is going to be pretty intense. We got the number 1 Razorsharks playing the Kentucky Mavericks, our Kentucky Mavericks. It's going to be an interesting second half. If you've got time, whatever you're doing, you need to come down here to the Sports Center and check it out. We need all the fans we can have so that the Mavericks can take over that number 1 spot in the PBL. You're listening to 102.7 The Game, ESPN Owensboro, with James Herzog and Kevin Porter. Right now, we're going to switch it to a quick 3-minute commercial break, and then we'll be back to fill you in on everything else.
Welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, everyone. Kevin Porter, James Herzog bringing you all the exciting action as our Kentucky Mavs play host to the number 1 ranked Rochester Razorsharks. And yes, folks, what we thought was going to be a blowaway or a blowout with 24-point lead at the 7:02 mark in the second quarter remaining in the first half has turned into a game as the Razorsharks have figured something out going with a much smaller lineup, as you were talking about doing your first half recap, James. That smaller lineup, you know they're not going to change because it's flustered our Mavs, and hopefully at halftime, and I have all the faith in the world in Coach Tucker has figured something out with our Mavs only leading by 10, 58-48, as we head into the third quarter in about 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, and you just really got to keep your composure and stay calm because, I mean, basketball, it is a game of runs, and while the Mavs went out to that early lead, having their 40-point first quarter, which is almost unheard of, you really just got to hone in and realize that the game is 4 quarters, so you got to bring it every quarter.
Yeah, folks, I tell you, we thought this was going to be just a chance for us to talk about ourselves a lot, you know.
If only.
And to fill some time after they got up by 24, but they have made a game of it. That's why they're the number 1 ranked team in the PBL, the Rochester Razorsharks, that being.
Right.
All right, folks, we're about 3 minutes and 45 seconds away from the start of the second half. We're going to take time out for a 2-minute commercial break, give ourselves a chance to get set. We'll be back with the indicated starting lineups for both teams as we start the second half of our Kentucky Mavs games. Folks, we'll be back in 2 minutes after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game, ESPN Owensboro, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, everyone. Kevin Porter, James Herzog bringing you all the exciting action as our Kentucky Mavs play host to the number 1 ranked Premier Basketball League squad from New York State, the Rochester Razorsharks. All right, I tell you, James, we have all the faith in the world in Coach Steve Tucker. What, as a former player yourself, only a couple years removed, what would you think he would be talking to them about in the locker room?
You know, it really depends. Every coach is different. You know, some like to come in and dig into their team. Others will come in and walk around and won't say anything for 2 minutes just to give your team to sit with their thoughts. It really depends on the half. But you know, he's definitely focusing on the end of that second quarter where the Razorsharks picked it up with that trap, and the Mavericks were really just playing careless basketball. So really just not taking any possession for granted and just focusing on defense and leading that to the offense.
Folks, our Kentucky Mavs are currently leading 58-48 as we get ready to start the second half of play. As always, thanks to our great friends at Schwartz Heating and Cooling, who are the official sponsor of our Owensboro, Kentucky Mavericks basketball games, the broadcast right here on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro, call them today them being Schwartz Heating and Cooling at 270-691-1001. All right, folks, for the second half of this matchup with the number 1 ranked Rochester Razorsharks, our Mavs will be going left to right on your radio dial. Conversely, the Razorsharks from right to left. Starting for our Mavs, we're going back to, it looks like, yes it is, it's going to be the same starting five. We got Jackie Butler, we have Robert Crawford, we have Josh Johnson, Nick Waddell, who unfortunately picked up his third foul with less than a minute left in the first half, and Anthony the Jet Jackson.
Yeah, Nick Waddell's really going to have to play careful here in this second half. Make sure he doesn't pick up any ticky-tack fouls. And with Jackie Butler, he really looked good there at the start of the first quarter, so hopefully with this half of rest underneath him, he'll come out strong just like he did before.
Rochester has the ball to start the second half. Mavs going with full court pressure. Anthony the Jet Jackson working against Crouch for the Razorsharks. Mavs leading by 10. And I think this first possession is going to be key for our Mavs. We got to get them to either miss and get a quick rebound, which we do, as the shot was missed by Coker into the hands of Anthony the Jet Jackson. Mavs wearing their traditional home white uniforms. Blue stripe down the side, going left to right on your radio dial. Anthony the Jet Jackson working against Council. Gets the ball over to Josh Johnson, dumps it down low to Jackie Butler, who's working against their big man, who just can't seem to hold him off because Butler is too big. Turnaround shot, missed off the front. Rebounded by Robert Crawford, back to Butler, slapped out of bounds off his own by Rochester off the thigh of Butler. Turnover back to the Rochester Razorsharks.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate there because a great offensive rebound by Crawford with the nice bounce pass into Butler. It's just whenever you have somebody that's that big, you got to keep the ball high or else those guards are going to get in there and swatting down at the ball.
Rochester going with their dark blue with black numbers and lettering uniforms, giving us fits trying to see their numbers so we can call their names. And a miss from the corner. Oh, my goodness. It was a miss from the corner by Helton. Ends up in the hands of number 44, Coker, with a putback over Jackie Butler. Cuts the lead to 8, 58-50, 10:42 remaining in the third quarter.
And that really right there was just careless again. We got the rebound. We've had great defense to start out for these possessions. It's just we haven't been finishing it off. Battle for the rebound in the first possession, and they're just giving it away after we got the rebound. So they're really going to have to finish out the whole play.
Johnson drives, draws the foul, misses the bucket, but will be going to the line for 2 with our Mavs leading by 8, 58-50. 10:27 remaining in the third quarter. Going to the line for our Kentucky Mavs, Josh Johnson, that guy we got to have on my daily sports show live at 5 yesterday. Him and Ben Vizzola came over. Big shout out to Josh's girlfriend, real sweetheart, Jessica Greenlee, came in the studio with us as well. We all had a good time. Johnson puts up the first, does convert, puts us back up to a 9-point lead, 59-50. Now, folks, I want to remind you, we'll be back on the air tomorrow, 3:45 p.m. pregame, 4 p.m. tip-off as our Mavs face the Pennsylvania Dream. And just like that, Johnson converts on 2 to put the lead back to 10, 60-50, 10:25. And remaining in the third quarter, Rochester going right to left on your radio dial. It's going with their original starting lineup as well, Allman, Crouch, Helton, Rayleigh, and Coker. And right now they're running that, and it looks like Josh has picked up a quick foul. They're going with that same offense I had at the end of the second quarter.
They're coming towards the ball, and if it's not there, they're back cutting. And off of that back cut, they go and set a screen. It's really just a lot of movement, a lot of action, and then if you're not paying attention on defense, you can get into trouble with a foul like Josh did there.
Yeah, and our Mavs aren't getting around those screens, and they're committing ticky-tack fouls, and you hate to see that. With the shot missed, Crouch rebounded by Waddell, gets it up to Johnson, knocked out of his hands, out of bounds, but the Mavs do retain possession. 10:01 remaining in the third quarter with the Mavs holding on to and it's 10 points, but it's not
doesn't feel like
safe 10 points. Believe me, I feel like we're going back and forth with the lead. Mavs do retain possession. Johnson gets the ball in to Anthony, the Jet Jackson working against Crouch. Goes to the right wing looking for a high screen from Jackie Butler. Does get the screen. Oh, and he is fouled.
Drew the charge.
Crouch, and Crouch drew the charge from the Jet. He got that hand into Crouch's chest, knocked him down, and is called for the foul. Turnover back to the Rochester Razorsharks.
And you definitely see why they're the number 1 ranked team and undefeated on the season. They've picked their intensity up. They realize that the lead is within reach, even though it's still 10 points. It feels a lot closer for them, and they're getting it done.
And for the three-pointer, Crouch missed off, rebounded back into the hands of Coker, gets it over into his teammate, number 4, Crouch's hands again. Down the left side of the lane, runs into Jackson, throws up an out-of-control shot. But Jackson, just like that, is just called for his third foul at the 9:30 mark in the third quarter. We can't have this keep happening, James. We're getting too many fouls on us. They're not thinking. They're getting confused by this multi-screen offense they're running right now, and it is giving us havoc.
Yeah, with the Mavericks have all that size advantage on defense, but you got to be able to, with size, you got to be able to keep that quickness as well. And with the Razorsharks doing all this back cuts and ball screens, a lot of live action, you really just have to keep moving and keep from fouling.
Crouch converts on both free throws, cutting the lead to 8. Mavs up 60-58, 9:30 remaining in this contest. All right, we need a spark. We need a spark to get us going right here. Jet gets the high cut from Nick Waddell, top of the arc, kicks it over to Robert Crawford, trying to get it down to the right block to Waddell. Let him wheel and deal in the lane against number 14, Rayleigh. Dumps it back in the hands of Josh Johnson, goes up for the 8-footer. He is blocked by Rochester. But back into the hands of Johnson, puts up the 3, missed, rattles out. Waddell with the rebound and the putback to extend the lead back to 10, 62-52. That's what we need, James.
Yeah, that definitely helps. Waddell battling that whole possession inside, and you notice there the Razorsharks doubling him as soon as he catches it. So they definitely know what he's capable of and don't want to get him going, and he just stays with the play all the way out and finishes at home.
Rochester going right to right, going right to left on your radio dial for another 3-point play. Number 2, Corey Allman. It's off the front of the rim, rebounded back into the hands of Anthony Jet Jackson across the timeline. And I think I just got this weird feeling, James, we really had to convert and complete and get some points on this trip. I'm just feeling like every trip is too crucial.
Exactly.
Now.
Every possession is crucial. And Waddell pulling up for 3 there.
Oh, off the back, but it's rebounded by Butler, who goes back up and puts it up, but he is hacked by number 44, Coker. That should be Coker's 4th foul.
And that's great player personnel there. Coker's been all over it all night, really with his mouth and with his action on the court. So he knew a good shot fake there would get him up and jumped right into him.
Well, and of course, Butler didn't play all those years for the New York Knicks and San Antonio Spurs without knowing a few fakes here and there.
Exactly. He may have sat out a few years after that, but you never lose that basketball intellect.
Jackie Butler at the line, who drew the 4th foul on Coker, the key big man for Rochester. Coming into the matchup right now, number 33, Holmes. He's going to sit down. Number 44, Coker. Give him a rest because that bodes well for us, James. But they still have a good 20-plus minutes left of play, so he cannot afford to throw away those 2. Another foul.
Yeah, he's picked up his 4th foul, and like we said, their bigs are a little limited. Their bench is nowhere near the bench that the Mavericks have, so they really have to play smart remaining.
Mavs leading by 12, 64-52, and a strip ends up into the hands of Waddell, advances it to the Jet. He's going down the lane against number 33, Holmes, with the fingertip roll in. Mavs lead back up to 14. Rochester trying to answer, and they do just that quick. Number 12, Helton, going coast to coast.
Jackson down on the other end.
And Jet got knocked down again. He's holding that right leg, the one that was partially injured earlier. And hopefully it's just like a bruise, nothing too serious, but he's kind of rolling around on the floor. And we do not want to see that. Well, it looks like, okay, they got the trainer out there.
Yeah,
the trainer's
hopefully
stretching, hoping it's just cramps.
Or a little bit of a strain, but he landed a little funny there off of that fast break, and we just hope it's nothing serious.
Now, it is very warm in the Sports Center tonight, so I think we're hoping it's just cramps.
Yeah, that would be key, because you can't lose a top player like that who not only gets it done on the court with his stats and production, but his leadership as well.
Folks, we are at the 7:46 mark of the third quarter. Mavs leading by 12, 66-54. We're going to take – no, we were not, because it was only a 20-second timeout. Oh, no, okay, well, now the ref just clarified it. It is a full timeout, so we're going to take timeout for a 1-minute commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro will be right back. Welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, everyone. Kevin Porter, my man James Herzog, the voices of Kentucky Mavs basketball, bringing you all the exciting action as our Mavs are playing the #1 ranked Rochester Razorsharks up by 12, 66-54, 7:46 remaining in the third quarter. And James, we were talking about earlier, hopefully the injury to the Jet is nothing too serious. It is very warm in here, so we're hoping it's just a cramping issue.
Yeah, that would be ideal. Nothing serious. As we spoke to the type of player he is and the way the Mavs haven't really been utilizing that bench like they have in previous games because they know what they're up against in the Razorsharks.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. We have not seen Corey Wilford in the game just yet. We saw Andrew Christian for a brief period of time. Philly was in for a brief period of time. Brandon McGee, very brief. He's been staying with pretty much the same 6 or 7 players, which is kind of surprising to me because the coach has no problem rotating in 2 and 3 at a time.
Yeah, and it's really hard for coaches. I've noticed over the years, whenever they get into a match with such a tough ranked opponent, they kind of lose sight of that substitution method normally that they usually have, and they just, if something's working out there, they'll stick with it.
Mavs leading by 12, 66-54, retain possession. The inbounds into Marcus Philyaw. Philly from Kentucky Wesleyan. Last year playing for Coach Happy Osborne. He's at the right wing looking for the high screen from Waddell, but instead he gets it over to Robert Crawford, gets to the free throw line, feeds down low to Jackie Butler, goes in, he gets hacked on the arm, nothing called. Ball rolls out back into the hands of Rochester. They're on the 3-on-3 breakaway. Number 4, Jarice Crouch gets hacked, does miss the shot, but he will be going to the line for 2.
And that was a tough call there. I mean, Philyaw did his best to get back, stop the ball early, and then the ref kind of gave him a helpful hand there on that foul.
Yeah, you don't want to see that. You don't want the refs to be go one way or the other.
Exactly.
And what I'd like to see is while number 4 for the Rochester Razorsharks, Crouch, is shooting the free throws, Marcus Philyaw is over there working on that same ref who keeps calling all those ticky-tack fouls.
Yeah, you got to let him know. I mean, we're out here playing tough basketball, and everybody's going at it. You got to just try and plead your case and see what the ref sees.
Mavs back on the attack, going left to right. Into the game for the Mavs, Marcus Philyaw, Robert Crawford, Jackie Butler, Josh Johnson, and Nick Waddell. Crawford gets tied up, gets it down to the right lower block to Butler, has 2 men on him, gets to Philyaw, pulls up for the 16-foot jumper. Beautiful, nothing but net. Light it up, Philyaw. We need you, brother. We need you.
And
Mavs.
And with unsure of Anthony Jackson's return, that's great to see Philyaw coming in and picking up the slack with that shot right there.
Trying to answer back 4-3 as Crouch misses, rolls out in the hands of Butler, gets to Philyaw. Oh, look at the move. He put on 2 defenders, going down the lane, dishes it over to Crawford for 3. Off the rim, up in the air.
Shooter's touch.
It's a shooter's touch. That's what you want to see, Mavs fans. Back up to a 15-point lead. 71-56, 6:37, and this is like a fight going on out there, a championship fight, James. They smack you, you go right back at them.
All back and forth. It's been that way ever since the second quarter, really, and just hope that the Mavs get that last punch.
And unfortunately, it looks like Waddell just picked up his 4th foul. And that was another one of those ticky-tack fouls because Corey Allman jumped into Waddell. And we can't afford to lose Waddell because not only is he a great player, but he is so great at getting into the minds of the opponents and just totally frustrating them.
Yeah, he does that very well. He puts his moves on him down low, and afterwards he lets him know exactly what he did. And he always keeps his head. While it looks like he might be losing it talking to the other players, he always keeps his cool and knows what he's doing.
Mavs leading by 14 now as Allman converts on the first of 2 free throws. Coming into the game, Big G, Gerard Devon, on the court for our Kentucky Mavs. Jackie Butler, Gerard Devon, Robert Crawford, Josh Johnson, and Marcus, you can call him Philyaw. Our coverage all season long is being brought to you courtesy of our great friends at Schwartz Heating and Cooling. Call them at 270-691-1001. And with that, Crouch misses the second free throw. Mavs up by 14. Robert Crawford down the lane and the fingertip roll. I think the Mavs have found the spark. Let's hope they keep it going.
Yeah, quick 5 points there for Robert Crawford, and one was an open 3 in there, driving to the basket. You like to see the Mavs getting good shots on offense.
And once again, our defense is flustering them. They're trying any kind of floater, Hail Mary they can come up with. Just missed on that shot. Number 4, Crouch, into the hands of Waddell, and a quick foul. Mavs leading by 16 now with 6:02 remaining in the third quarter, 73-57.
And you can definitely tell a difference in the Mavs basketball from this quarter from the second quarter, because it's just watching it. Anybody, you don't have to be an expert on basketball to know that they're playing a different brand out there right now getting it done on offense and defense.
And mentally, this is important. This is important for our guys to finish this game well. Yes, we want to win, but we've got another game tomorrow against the Pennsylvania Dream. We cannot afford to have a bad loss going into that matchup.
Yeah, it's always tough, the back-to-back games, one day after the next, and it really does carry over. If they have a big win here, that could bode well for tomorrow's game.
Mavs leading by 16 with Josh Johnson just pulled the foul going to the line for two. He misses the first. Mavs up 73-57, 5:48 remaining in the third quarter. We still have 17 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in this contest, James. But I'm like the fact that I'm seeing that renewed energy level in our Mavs.
Yeah, it's been a great third quarter, and I really like what I'm seeing out of Marcus Filiar right now, taking it upon himself to pick up full court, and as we saw earlier, hitting that jump shot, and he's really just getting it done.
And Crouch has been living on those high screens, and just as soon as you say that, Filiar almost intercepted the pass, knocked it out of bounds. He thought he knocked it out of bounds off of Melvin Cancel, but he did not. Possession retains with the Razorsharks going right to left on your radio dial. Mavs leading by 17, 74-57. 5:39 remaining in the third quarter. Ball into the hands of Crouch. Swings it over to Allman. Allman looking to work against Robert Crawford. Into the lane, jumps into Jackie Butler. Oh, see, they're calling these fouls on our players after their guards are jumping into them. So
yeah,
that is his fourth foul for Butler.
That's the same way he drew the foul on Waddell. He sees he has a bigger man on him. He knows that he can get them with that little shot fake. And it's not like the defense is out of position. They're backed off of him, but he's going out of his way to jump forwards into him, and that's just a tough call.
And I wouldn't put it past, because I remember Rochester's game last year when we played them in the opening game last season, and we did beat them by like 20 points. But they went to the same type of attack. If you weren't hitting, a lot of your outside shots and start trying to draw all the fouls you could.
Yep.
And it's working right now because they're hacking away at it, chipping away at it, 1 point at a time.
Exactly, like you said, getting it done from the free throw line. Not only is it a free shot for you, but it also stops the clock.
Mavs up by 15, 74-59. Back on the attack, going left to right, ball top of the arc. In the hands of Marcus Filial running the attack after Anthony the Jet Jackson went down with what looks like to be cramps. Gets the ball down to the lower left corner to Johnson. Johnson looking to work against Crouch, drives in, dishes it to Butler at the left elbow. Jump shot off. Oh, almost rebounded by Josh Johnson. Back into the hands of Allman, pushing the ball up the left side of the court, working against Philly. He gets the high screen. Drives down the lane with the floater. Missed. Rebounded by Butler. Pushes it up to Josh Johnson. We got a 3-on-2 with Big G. Gets it over to Crawford, who goes back into lane from the free throw line. A jump shot. Oh, nothing but net. Mavs are up by 17 points, 76-59, 4:42 remaining in the third quarter.
And you like to see how they're pushing the pressure there on offense, getting it. As soon as Butler got that rebound, he was looking for somebody to get it to. Outlet pass right up the court with under 4 seconds. That's great basketball.
And one thing I'm glad I'm not refereeing, or I'm sure Rochester's glad I'm not refereeing, because they're doing a lot of moving screens and they're not getting called.
Yeah, that's always
Rochester.
Tough.
Back on the attack from the missed shot or the strip shot by Butler. Got it back in the hands. Big G to the lower right block. Working around, turns around, puts it up. It's missed. Almost rebounded by Josh Johnson. He was working against number 33, Sidney Holmes.
Yeah, and Big G really just has to take his time there. He knew he had the size advantage. Just take his time, back it down, and really focus on putting it in.
And just like that, trying to get anything to happen, number 11, Melvin Council for the Razorsharks, drives in, draws the foul on Josh Johnson. That is his fourth foul. Two key players with 4 fouls, Jackie Butler, Josh Johnson, and we've also got 4 on Waddell now, so 3 of our key players. Up off the bench, that man, that Christian County product, Corey Wilford, will be coming into this contest for Josh Johnson. Right now on the court for our Kentucky Mavs, Marcus Filial, Robert Crawford, Corey Wilford, Big G, Gerard Devon, and Jackie Butler, formerly of the Nixon Spurs.
Yeah, and you hope there's no drop-off going into this bench because, like we've talked about this game, Coach Tucker really hadn't dug into that bench like he normally does, and it's hard to put yourself into the game when you sat out the whole first half.
At the line, number 11, Council converts on the free throws, cuts the lead down to 14, 76-52, just under 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Marcus, you can call him Filial, running the attack, gets it over to Wilford, just into the game for 3. Oh, yeah. Bring him off the bench and get a tray right off the bat.
I think the ref did just call it a 2, but that's tough to do. To come in and, like we said, didn't get in at all the first half. Coming in cold and knocking down his first shot, that's tough.
Mavs lead 16, 78, 62, 3:33 remaining. And driving down the left side of the lane, number 11, Melvin Council, is turnover. He gets the ball stripped by Gerard Devon out of bounds, back into the hands of the Mavs. Looks like Robert Crawford will be triggering the inbounds into Marcus Filia.
Yeah, and it was good to see the refs didn't take that bait again from the Razorsharks and call a foul.
Ball gets over into the hands of the left wing to Corey Wilford. His second three, just off, but rebounded by Gerard Devon, working against 3 men, puts it up, it's missed, rebounded, ends up eventually into the hands of Melvin Council. Mavs leading by 16, tried to do a long pass, almost intercepted by Wilford, and there's that man Ivy for 3, it's missed, but unfortunately coming over the top, it's home for the rebound. It will be a third attempt for the Rochester Razorsharks. Number 5, Ivy, the sharpshooter with the highest shooting percentage. For the Razorsharks back in the game, they're going back to those double screens up high, trying to free anybody up they can. Woodson, number 35, for a long 3, hits the top of the backboard, and turnover back to the Kentucky Mavs. All right, right now, timeout on the floor, 2:47 remaining in the third quarter, James. We're up by 16, 78 to 52. What I like is we've started to get back into their heads because they're taking a lot of, Hail Marys, tough shots, just trying to get anything to happen. Though they are getting multiple shot attempts every time down court, and that's not good for us.
Yeah, definitely taking tough shots, trying to draw fouls, and you saw Dominic Woodson kind of just pushing his luck with that 3 there. But like you said, you got to get the rebounds. The Mavericks right now just turning and watching the ball and going up for the rebound instead of finding the man first, making sure they don't get it, and then releasing for the rebound.
Folks, you are listening to Kentucky Mavs Basketball on your home for Kentucky Mavs Basketball. 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro coverage all season long is being brought to you courtesy of our great friends at Schwartz Heating and Cooling. Call them today at 270-691-1001. Ask for Dan. I know the guy. He's a great guy. He'd love to come fix your AC unit. He has nothing else going on right now. It's kind of slow. Weather's nice. Call Dan. He'll be there in a heartbeat.
He'll take care of you for sure.
Yes, he will. Mavs leading by 16, 78-62. 2:47 remaining in the third quarter. In other words, we have 14 minutes and 47 seconds left. We cannot afford to let off, and I just have this feeling, James, and you tell me what your thoughts are, that every trip down the court for our Mavs is crucial.
Yeah, and we've talked about that here in this second half. You notice it's definitely a different game. Started off a little bit easier for the Mavs, and like we expected, the Razorsharks fought right back in this whole second half. While the Mavs are up 16 right now, like you said, every possession is crucial because it doesn't take but 2 good possessions down the court, and the Razorsharks are back in this game.
Currently, our Mavs have possession of the ball going left to right on your radio dial, leading by 16, 78-62. 2:47 remaining in the third quarter. Now, folks, we'll be back on the air tomorrow afternoon. 3:45 pregame, 4 p.m. tip-off as our Mavs play host to the Pennsylvania Dream. On the court for the Mavs, Mike Crane, Phil Yaw, Corey Wilford, Jackie Butler, and Big G, Gerard Devon. So we got 3 guards and 2 big men working, James.
Yeah, definitely switching to the 3 guards. Anthony Jackson still hadn't came back in, so good to see Mike Crane, that other leader who's been with the team for several years, making sure that the offense gets done what it needs to get done.
Filia running the point, jumps it off to the right wing over to Crane, feeds it down low to Jackie Butler, working against the much smaller Council in the lane on that right block, spins in, has the ball stripped, goes up for the shot, but draws the foul on looks like number 45, Bob Wegner for Rochester.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Actually called it on Ivy, who came around from behind.
Yeah, I was surprised. Ivy being a smaller guard there.
Yeah.
On Butler, they've been double teaming when it goes into the post. I don't know if they don't realize who Jackie Butler is or if they just thought that he could handle him. But,
I don't care who you are. You're not going to push Jackie Butler around.
No.
Mavs retain possession, up by 78-62. Mike Crane running the offense, top of the key, working against Council. Looks for the screen, drives down the lane, tries to feed it to Jackie, but it's intercepted. Back on the run out. It's the Razorsharks. Ivy for 3, rims out. Back in the hands of Filia. A sloppy pass. Oh, they got to stop with these sloppy passes. It ends up back to number 25, Deverell Biggs. Biggs working down the lane, runs into Jackie Butler, does not get the shot, but once again, Ivy for a second attempt. See, they're getting too many.
Fortunate there.
They're getting too many shots, and look at that sloppy play. Biggs strips it from Crane. It's blocked by Butler, And then we have a tie-up in the lower left corner, knocked out of bounds. Great hustle by the Mavs, but Sidney Holmes almost knocked it off the leg of Mike Crane out of bounds.
Yeah, great veteran play there by Crane. Got trapped in the corner, and what does he do? Just jumps and throws it off the Razorsharks defender. But we got lucky there.
Yes, we did.
3 shots, and one of them was for a wide-open 3 for the leading field goal shooter in the league, John Ivey, and we just got fortunate that they missed it.
And just like that, Woodson is called for the foul, trying to hold Jackie Butler away on that lower left post from getting to his mark. That is his 4th foul, so all of their big men are also in foul trouble.
Yeah, Woodson's their last remaining big out there on the court. Now he's in foul trouble. It's going to be interesting to see what they go to in their lineup.
Yeah, and Coker's been sitting on the bench for the better part of the 3rd quarter, which is a good thing for us.
Yeah,
Jackie Butler, who's usually a great free throw shooter, misses the first. Mavs leading by 16, 78-62, 123. Remember, folks, we'll be back on the air tomorrow. 3:45 p.m. pregame, 4 p.m. tip-off as our Mavs play the Pennsylvania Dream. Andrew Christian up off the bench for the Kentucky Mavs, getting ready to come into the contest after the shot. Butler converts, puts the lead back up to 17, 79-62 against the defending back-to-back PBL champs, the Rochester Razorsharks, going right to left, back on offense with that man Ivey down the lane, sees Jackie Butler, thinks twice about it. I think I would too.
Yeah.
Exactly. Ends up in the hands of Woodson. Once again, they're getting 2 and 3 shots every time down the court.
Oh, and they
boom,
picked up another
Woodson,
big foul.
That's his 5th.
Yeah, that's his 5th, and that's tough for the ref to call. I mean, I'll take it, but that's
We'll take
tough.
it. Yes,
Everybody
yes.
was battling for the ball there. It was just getting tipped amongst the big men, and that's tough to pick up a foul with that.
There's like a lot of flurry action going on the court. These guys are doing it. I mean, I can't begrudge the fact that they're working as hard as they can after a missed shot, trying to get it back.
Yeah.
But our Mavs are just kind of like a little spaced out at times. They think, well, I got the rebound, it's over. No, the play's not over because they're going to come up behind you and try and strip you.
Yeah, and that's really what it's been all night. The Razorsharks have done a great job of pressuring them right off the offensive rebound. It's really forced the Mavs into a lot of just careless turnovers.
And the recipient of that foul, Big G Gerard Devon, the line, hits the first of 2, extends the lead to 18, 80-62, looking to make it bookends. Shot is up and rattles home. Mavs up by 19, 81-62, 105 remaining in the 3rd quarter as the seconds tick off. And to tell you, James, the way right now I'm feeling about this Rochester game, they can go on a quick 10, 12, 14-point run in a matter of a minute, and so I don't feel comfortable even with a 19-point lead.
Yeah, and you can't, after seeing what they did to us in the first half and seeing the high-volume shooters that they have, although Big G right there with the
just like that,
play.
Big G holding his ground against Dominic Woodson, draws his 6th foul. He is out of the game.
That was all frustration there for Woodson. It was almost like he was just so frustrated with the refs on their last call that he couldn't handle anymore. He had to get out of the game.
Now, here's bad news if you're a Rochester Razorshark fan. Back into the game, number 44, Coker, but he's got 4 fouls.
Yep. And their other big man, 7-footer Jordan Rayleigh, he's got 4 as well. So they're really running down to the end of this lineup. And the Mavs, you got to give them all the credit. Every push that the Razorsharks have had this game, the Mavs been right there to fight right back.
Back on the attack, the Mavs going with Phil Crane, Gerard Devon, Andrew Christian, and Corey Wilford. 37 seconds remaining in the contest. Going up for the shot, Gerard Devon missed. He thought it was tipped out of bounds, but it's not. Turnover back to the Rochester Razorsharks. Folks, Mavs leading by 19, 81-62. 35.7 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, and what we thought was going to be initially a runaway has turned into a very tightly contested contest. And James, even with the 19-point lead, I still feel like they can get it back to single digits very easily.
Yeah, there's long quarters, and you just want to make sure that the Mavs get a stop here at this. Hoping they don't. They don't, as
Coker with the turnaround.
That big man has been hanging in there all night for the Razorsharks.
Cuts the lead to 17, 18 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Philyaw across the timeline, trying to get the ball to Big G, waves him off. He's running down time. He's working against John Ivey, that sharpshooter for the Rochester Razorsharks. 7 seconds left. Philyaw down the lane, dumps it over to Corey, who thinks about 3, fakes, goes back up. His arm was hacked. It was not called, and as time expires in the 3rd quarter, our Mavs are leading by 17 points, 81-64. Folks, we're going to take time out for a 2-minute commercial break. When we come back, we'll give you all the 3rd quarter stats and highlights. That's what we remind you. You're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro will be right back. Welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, everyone, for the start of the fourth quarter as our Kentucky Mavs are facing the number 1 ranked Rochester Razorsharks. Back into the lineup, that man, Anthony the Jet Jackson, going with Corey Wilford, Andrew Christian, Mike Crane, and 4 fouls on Nick Waddell. So you know he's going to be a little more careful than usual, but let's see what will happen. And with that, Mike Crane in amongst the bigs, split the defenders with the fingertip roll, extends the lead to 19, 83, 64, 11:29 remaining in the contest.
A great up and under move there by Mike Crane, and you know that Coach T knows what he's doing. Starting the fourth quarter out with the veterans out there, they know what to do whenever the game's on the line.
Coker tried to go down low with the shot, just threw it over the rim. Now we've got a scrum on the floor, ends up into the hands of Waddell. Christian fight for everything there, advances it up to Mike Crane, pulls things back up. Big cross-court pass to the hands of Corey Wilford off the side of the rim and over the backboard. That would have like rocked the house. Mavs leading 83-64, 11:01 remaining in this contest.
Yeah, like we said earlier, the Mavs, what you love to see with them on defense, right there as they get the steals, they're just hustle nonstop. They never stop on defense.
The Jet with the strip, back to Waddell, goes in for the easy layup. There you go, folks. That's what we want to see. Mavs up 21 points at the 10:50 mark of the fourth quarter.
And you got to be thankful there for Anthony Jackson. Not only just concerned about his health, but if you're a Mavs fan, concerned about what he does for the Mavs right there, getting it done on defense and leading it right over to offense.
And just like that, we get a walk after the conversion of that two-pointer by Nick Waddell. Called for the walk, number 12, James Helton for the Rochester Razorsharks. Turnover back to the Mavs, 10:36 remaining in the contest. Mavs leading 85-64. All right, folks, we want to remind you, the Mavs will be back in action, and my man James and I, we will be here with the call of the game. Approximately 3:45 p.m. pregame, James. Tip-off set for 4 o'clock against the Pennsylvania Dream. Hey, we want to give a shout-out to all of our great friends, Kentucky Tile, Matt, the entire gang. They're here. They're having a great time. They're enjoying themselves, and great to see our friends from Kentucky Tile Owensboro here enjoying this game as it's number 1, number 2. Right now, the Mavs leading by 21, but as we've seen, James, I'm still not comfortable because we've seen the fact they can reel off 10, 12 unanswered points in a matter of a minute and be right back in this contest.
Exactly, and they have several high-volume shooters like we've talked about all game. And we've really been fortunate. I mean, yes, we've played good defense, but they've had some open threes from their shooters, and they haven't gone their way, so it could easily go their way.
And I think a little bit of exhaustion might be playing into this thing because you can see these guys have their hands on their hips every time they get a chance to break. Waddell working in the lane, beautiful up and under move, splits the defenders, extends the lead to 23, 87-64 with 10:14 remaining in this contest.
Yeah, and he's just a tough player on offense. He never ceases to amaze me, and there's no question why he was the player of the month this past month.
And unfortunately, just after that beautiful splitting the defender up and under move, Waddell picks up his 5th foul with 10:09 remaining in the contest. And Coach Tucker's not getting anybody up off of the bench, so I guess he just expects Nick to go ahead and play through it.
Yeah, I was interested to see what he was going to do there, and he's got to play smart. But really, it's a full defensive, full team effort on defense. Waddell was forced into a foul there from the guards just swiping down and letting him go right past them.
Mavs going left to right on the radio dial. Currently on the court for our Kentucky Mavs, Christian, Anthony the Jet Jackson, Mike Crane, Nick Waddell, and Christian County's very own Corey Wilford. Mike Crane working the ball, looking to get a high screen from Christian, waves him off back to the top of center court in the hands of Wilford, drives down the lane, goes up against a big guy. Oh, it would have been a beautiful finish had that gone in. Rebound, Coker for Rochester, gets it back into the hands of that dangerous man, Ivy. Down the lane, sees Waddell, goes around him, fingertip roll, cuts the lead to 18, 87, 69, 9:38 and counting.
And again, it's all starting on that perimeter defense. We just got to move our feet better. We're letting the guards, especially Ivy, these past couple of possessions, just get right past into the lane. And, I mean, our bigs are in foul trouble. They don't really have much choice but to make it. I mean, they can't really make it as tough on them as they would be able to if they didn't be in foul trouble.
Mavs back on the attack, going left to right. Ball in the hands of Christian lower left, gets it back to the right wing into the hands of Wilford. Drives in, ends up running into number 14, Jordan Rayleigh. Gets it back out to Christian just before the shot clock expired, but he shoots an air ball from 3. All right, that's 2 quick possessions. We got sloppy. Coach has seen enough. He's got Josh Johnson back up off the bench. There comes Robert Crawford. He's not liking the sloppiness he's seen on the court.
And his two, Robert Crawford, Josh Johnson, his two defensive specialists. That's why we know that he put him in the starting lineup last game and then as well again this game. And so hoping that they can just pick it up on defense to finish this game out.
Also coming back up off the bench. Looks like we got Gerard Devon and Jackie Butler. So he's going to do a platoon thing here, looks like. Ivy working against the Jet. Feeds it down low to Coker. Goes up against Christian, who almost had a clean strip, but gets called for the foul against their center for the Razorsharks, Coker. That's third for Christian, but that man working down low has 4 on him. So he's trying to be as careful as he can.
Yeah, Coker and who was that other man? Jordan Rayleigh, both of them. I think that's why Coach T is making this switch now, getting his bigger guys in there to really battle with them down low.
Coker at the line for the three throw, rattles it in, cuts the lead to 17. Mavs leading 87-70 over the defending back-to-back PBL champs Rochester Razorsharks. At this point, into the game now, the Mavs are going to be going with Jackie Butler, Gerard Devon, Josh Johnson, Anthony the Jet Jackson, and Robert Crawford.
Yeah, let's hope with these substitutions here that we don't see any drop-off in energy on defense.
Coker converts on the bookends for the free throw. Cuts the lead to 16, 87-71, 8:58 and counting in the remaining in this contest. Mavs working across midcourt. The Jet down to the right corner and into the hands of Crawford for 3. Oh, yeah, that's what we needed, baby. Give him the tray. Give him the tray. Almost intercepted on the inbounds again by the Jet. Mavs back up by 19, 90-71, 8:39 remaining in this contest.
And that's just what Anthony Jackson does. When you have a top point guard like that, they know how to break the press and get the wide open shot. It was just perfect.
Allman for the 3, missed, rebounded by Josh Johnson. Back into the hands of Anthony the Jet Jackson up the right side of the court, trying to dump it down low to Big G. Gerard Devon working against that man. Number 14, Rayleigh with 4 fouls. Turns around, missed, rebounded into the hands of Rayleigh. Gets it, advances the ball up to Crouch, who pulls up for 3, and he converts just like that. I'm sorry, Corey Allman, just like that. Lead cut to 16, 8:06 remaining in this contest. Mavs looking to go 6-1 on the season and looking to hand the Rochester Razorsharks their first loss of the season.
Yeah, big game, a lot in up for grabs here these last 8 minutes of this game. Razorsharks trying to make a little bit of a push, so we just got to hang in there because this will mean a lot for the Mavericks season, taking over that #1 spot.
Coach Tucker didn't like the sloppiness. We were actually seeing on the floor, decided to call a timeout. So, folks, we're going to take timeout for a 1-minute commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro will be right back. And welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, everyone. Kevin Porter, James Herzog bringing you all the exciting action as our Kentucky Mavs are up by 16 over the defending back-to-back PBL national champs and undefeated Rochester Razorsharks squad. Right now, our Mavs leading by 16, 90-74, 7:58 remaining in the contest. Coach called a timeout. He needed to regroup this team, James. But in the interim, my favorite part of the game is they do that first time out of the fourth quarter. All the kids come on the court and dance, and I love seeing these kids' faces.
Yeah, especially when they get some of the pom-poms from the Lady Mavs.
From the Lady Mavs.
They really get into it. It's great to see.
All right, folks, we are up by 16. Let's set the scene. Up by 16, 90-74, 7:58 remaining in this contest. The Mavs going against the undefeated Rochester Razorsharks, looking to go 6-1 in the season. On the court for the Mavs, Nick Waddell with 5. Josh Johnson, Jackie Butler, Anthony the Jet Jackson got past his cramping issues, and Robert Crawford. Waddell, right elbow, almost has it stripped. But
No.
oh, now, come on. They just called Waddell
His
for
final
his
foul.
final foul, and he is out. And that was beyond
really cheap
ticky-tack. Let me tell you, that was beyond ticky-tack. Waddell has fouled out with 7:51 remaining in the contest. For Waddell. Number 10, Brandon McGee for the Mavs. Mavs holding on to a 16-point lead.
Yeah, that's just one of those plays by the defense where they got a little bit of the acting job in there and showing the rest that there might have been a foul when there really wasn't.
And we need a good stop here, and we do get that. McGee with the rebound off the missed shot, but it's stripped away into the hands of Allman for 3. It's missed, rebounded by Butler, knocked away from him by Bailey. The Jet got the ball. He's pushing it up court. He's going coast to coast, gets it over to Crawford, back to the Jet, back to Jackie Butler, top of the arc. Just going to reset things, slowing everybody down, a little out of control there, trying to feed it down low to the right block to McGee, working against a much taller player, and he's called for the charge against number 33, Sidney Holmes. And I guess those refs are seeing something that I'm not seeing out there, James.
Yeah, I thought maybe he would have called him for the travel. It looked like he might have moved his feet, but sometimes these refs, it almost seems like they want to make a statement and they really get into the game.
Mavs leading by 16, and just like that, number 12, James Helton with the uncontested lay-in. Cut the lead to 14, 7 minutes remaining in the contest. Anthony the Jet Jackson, Brandon McGee, Jackie Butler, Robert Crawford, and Josh Johnson on the court for our Mavs. Right now, Crawford gets the high screen from McGee. He gets fouled. It's not called. Gets the works around to the top of the arc into the hands of Josh Johnson, drives in for the 8-foot floater. But he does draw the foul against number 4, Jarice Crouch. Although he did miss the shot, he'll be going to the lane for 2.
And we'll take that one. Well, if the ref's going to let the other one go and call that one as a makeup call, it's better to get free throws out of it, right?
Exactly. Mavs leading by 14. Every point is crucial here in this contest because the Razorsharks are not going away anytime soon. And just like that, usually Josh Johnson shooting at that 92% click from the free throw line misses the first.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that these next few possessions with just over 6.5 minutes to go, 14-point lead, they're going to be crucial to how this end of this game is going to play out.
All right, Josh Johnson with the shot up, missed,
On
but
the Mavs?
they said there was a lane violation by Robert Crawford. So his second shot, although he didn't make it, was waved off, so we didn't lose anything there, except for the fact we lost possession, and we're holding on to a 14-point lead, 90-76 with 6:39 remaining in the contest.
Yeah, everybody's on the ends of their seats just seeing how the Mavs are going to react here at these last few minutes.
Ivy working against the Mav defense. We do not need Ivy to light it up because he can get going in a heartbeat. And for 3, it's the big man. Number 14, Jordan Rayleigh, missed, rebounded by the Mavs. The Jet gets the ball across the timeline, up the top of the arc, feeds it over to Robert Crawford, looking for the screen, waves off Brandon McGee, back to McGee for 3, off the front of the rim, saved by Crouch for Rochester. All right, we're not getting any conversions here, James. That's not a good thing. We cannot afford to waste trips down the court.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a, McGee takes a hit to the
and
face.
McGee gets smacked in the face by Ivy.
Inadvertent, I think.
Inadvertent. Ivy goes right up to him immediately, says, I'm sorry, man, my bad.
Yeah, but on offense, they really got to get something going. Take their time. I mean, they have the lead and they have the clock on their side, so you might as well take time. And with McGee on that last shot, it's tough because he hasn't really been able to find a groove going in this game.
Mavs leading by 14, 90-76, 5:58 remaining in this contest. We're going to take time out for a 1-minute commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game, ESPN Owensboro. We'll be right back.
Oh, that's exciting. Okay. Now, I can't say this any other way, but can you please get on all fours? Thank you.
This is the weirdest thing.
Oh, I know. I know. It's like, what the heck, man? Oh, she has to re-throw it down because her blindfold fell off.
You're losing it. Okay.
Cheating.
Can we put the music
Welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, everyone. Kevin Porter, James Herzog, the voices of Kentucky Mavs basketball, bringing you all the exciting action as our Mavs play host to the #1 ranked Rochester Razorsharks. All right, folks, here's the scene. Mavs going left to right on your radio dial. Conversely, right to left for the Rochester Razorsharks. Razorsharks undefeated on the season at 7-0. Our Mavs at 5-1, looking to move to 6-1. We have 5:58 remaining in the contest. Mavs leading 90-76, up by 14. Unfortunately, James, one of our key players, Nick Waddell, has fouled out, and we know how crucial he is down the stretch.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to finish this one out with him, but thankfully we got ourselves a little bit of a cushion with the 14-point lead. And although the Mavs haven't taken advantage of their depth this game that much, they can lean on it here at the end of this game.
On the court for the Mavs for the final 5:58 of the fourth quarter, we've got Brandon McGee, Anthony the Jet Jackson, Josh Johnson, Jackie Butler, and Robert Crawford. Mavs back on the attack, going left to right. Ball into the hands of the Jet, works across the timeline, working against that man. Crouch has been giving him fits all day. Looks for the high screen, waves it off from Brandon McGee, gets it in the hands of Robert Crawford down low, gets it over to Butler, streaking down the lane for the put-in and one.
And that was just great basketball. That's what you want to see come out of a timeout. We spoke earlier, they came out of the timeout, we're getting a bad shot several possessions right there. Run it to a tee, going baseline, perfect bounce pass for the and one. That was just perfect.
And Butler goes to the line looking for the and one to complete the three-point play should he do so. That'll put the Mavs up by 17, and the shot's up and nothing but net. Mavs leading by 17, 93-76. 5:43 remaining in this contest. Rochester, I'm not sure what happened there. It looked like the guy was trying to inbound.
Got a nice deflection there.
Yeah, beautiful. Great hands by Brandon McGee, the 6'8", one of the new members of the Kentucky Mavs. We're 6:43 away from knocking off the undefeated and reigning PBL champs, the back-to-back PBL champs, the Rochester Razorsharks. But, James, there's a lot of game left to play.
Yeah, 5.5 minutes. Everybody's just anticipating what's to come, because if they pull this off, that would tie them for the first place in the league.
Sharpshooter Ivy trying to work against our defense, and he's being held in check. I love how Robert Crawford, the much taller Crawford, is keeping him shut down. And Rayleigh with the Hail Mary three off the front of the rim into the hands of Crawford. He gets it back to the Jet. Up in the back left corner of the backcourt. Resets the offense. He's working from the left wing down towards the baseline. Kicks it back out to Crawford. Crawford pulls up for three. Off the back of the iron into the hands of Allman. Rochester back on the attack. Allman pulls up for three, and it rattles out. Back to Ivy, pulls up for two from 14 feet. He does convert. Cuts the lead to 15, 93-78. The clock is just not moving fast enough, James.
It's ticking away slowly but surely, and all the fans are getting into it. You see the kids behind us hitting on the signs. They want this win as bad as we do.
Anthony the Jet Jackson back on the attack, drives down the lane, but he's hacked by number 4, Jarice Crouch. So he will be going to the line. That was the second foul on Crouch. And you know there's been a little imbalance of the fouls called here in the second half, James. That's only the 5th foul called on Rochester.
Yeah, it's really just it's hard. You can't put it all on the refs. I mean, they're doing their best, and sometimes that's just the way it works out with some teams driving to the basket and others hovering more around the three-point line.
Anthony the Jet Jackson at the line. Mavs leading by 15, 93-78, 4:30 remaining in this contest. I want to remind you that our coverage is being brought to you courtesy of Shorts Heating and Cooling, the official sponsor of Kentucky Mavs basketball broadcast on the home of Mavs basketball. 102.7 The Game, ESPN Owensboro. The Jet converts on the free throw, extends the lead back to 16, 94-78, 4:27 remaining in this contest. The number 1 ranked Rochester Razorsharks, the number 2 ranked Kentucky Mavs, doing battle at the Sports Center on this beautiful Saturday night, February the 11th. Rochester back on the attack, trying to get the ball down low to Coker, who has those 4 fouls, but he's kind of backing up, but he does hit the 12-footer, converts on the 2, cutting the lead to 14, 94-80. Full court pressure by Rochester, gets the ball away from the Jet, but a fight on the floor ends up in the hands of Butler, gets it over to Brandon McGee, gets it across the timeline. Robert Crawford has the ball. The Jet, who's been fighting cramps all game, running the attack over towards the right wing. They're clearing it out. It's going to be him, mano a mano, against Jarice Crouch. But to Crawford for three. Top of the arc. The net didn't even move on that one, extending the lead to 17, 97-80 for our Kentucky Mavs.
And that's the second time it's ended up in Robert Crawford's hands at the end of the shot clock for a deep three.
And right down the court, enters back with the two. Jarice Crouch. The Mavs, they're trading 3 for 2, but we can't give him an open shot that quickly after making the 3.
Yeah, I know. Got to get back on defense and locate the shooters because the Razorsharks, they don't have much time to work with, so they're trying to get up quick shots.
Rochester working on the full court pressure, trying to slow things down for our Mavs and get the turnovers. Ball into the hand of McGee, back to the Jet, who gets it back to McGee across the timeline. Ooh, almost an over and back. But back to the Jet, who drops it down low to Jackie Butler. Crawford down the lane. Oh, goes for the jam, but he's hacked and will be going to the line.
He tried to put a statement there on the end of this game with that.
Yes, he did. That would have been
put that man in a poster.
Would have been a big statement, too. Mavs leading by 15, 97-82, 3:08 remaining in this contest. And I swear to you, James, 3:08 to me seems like it's going to take a half an hour, man. I'm sweating it out, and not just because. It's really kind of warm tonight in the Sports Center.
Yeah, while it is a nice day, it's an even better game, and it's coming down here to the wire, and it's just there's so much anticipation for this win that it's just making these last 3 minutes go by so slowly.
Crawford converts on the first of 2, extends the lead to 16, 98-82, 3:08 remaining in the contest. Crawford at the line. Robert Crawford, one of the 8 new members for our Kentucky Mavs, looking to extend the lead to 17 should he convert on the bookends. Shot is up and good. Rattles it in. Mavs up 99-82, and we're going to break the century mark, I have a feeling, James, before the end of the game.
Yeah, it's safe to say.
I know it's putting myself way out there with a 99-point already, but I think we might do that.
I think you're okay with that one.
Number 2, Corey Allman for the 3, missed, rebounded to Josh Johnson. One-on-one, Robert Crawford down the lane, goes in for the shot, hits the backboard. It's knocked out by Coker. Turnover back to Rochester. Allman for 3. Oh,
4-point play.
4-point play is called for the foul on Robert Crawford, who got him on the arm as he put the shot up. Will be going to the line for the 4-point play. All right, we've got a timeout on the floor, so we're going to take timeout for a 1-minute commercial break. After we remind you, you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game. ESPN Owensboro will be right back. Welcome back to the Owensboro Sports Center, everyone. Kevin Porter, James Herzog, the voices of Kentucky Mavs basketball. And we are in a tight one here, and even after I tell you the score, believe me, it's a lot tighter than the score would reflect. Mavs are currently leading by 15, 99-84, 2:43 remaining in this contest. But we just had a foul. Luckily, James, it was changed from a 3-point shot to a 2-point shot, so they can look at converting and getting a 3-point play and cutting into the lead. But that would have been a lot better than 4.
Yeah, that's much better. It's always tough when you foul a jump shooter like that, but at least his foot was on the line and didn't give away that extra point.
All right, folks, we'll be back on the air tomorrow afternoon, 4 p.m., as our Mavs have back-to-back games on successive days. Tomorrow against the Pennsylvania, also known now as the Du Bois Dream. Our coverage all season long is being brought to you courtesy of our great friends at Schwartz Heating and Cooling. Call them at 270-691-1001 to schedule a maintenance check today. All right, here's the scenario. Mavs going left to right on your radio dial. Rochester going right to left. Right now the Mavs are leading by 15, 99-84, 2:43 remaining. At the line for the Rochester Razorsharks, Allman, who just hit that fall away 2-point jump shot, looking for the 3-point play to cut the lead to 14. And he does with that. Mavs leading 99-85, 2:43. Full court pressure from Rochester. Able to break it into the hands of Josh Johnson. Beautiful team play there. Josh Johnson into lane against two defenders. Spin around. Gets hacked by number 14, Jordan Rayleigh. And is that his fifth?
I think so. I think that's his fifth.
That's his fifth. So he's, with 2:37 remaining. And
he's working
and both
on it.
of their big men, Rayleigh and Coker. Coker has 4, Rayleigh has 5. Josh misses the first, and that's surprising for him. He was
That's
shooting
his
at
last few free throws he's missed.
He's missed the front end of the bookends on this one. Mavs leading by 14. Every point is crucial because Rochester's not going away anytime soon.
And I was a little curious there. I mean, they broke the press. He had the ball. He didn't really have numbers there, but decided to drive in. Ended up getting fouled, but as you see, didn't connect on both of them and stop the clock for the Razorsharks.
That's right, giving them more time. The Razorsharks working, and just like that, Johnson is called for the foul as he got a little too close to number 12, James Hilton for Rochester. The bad thing is they're chipping away 1 point at a time, James, and is keeping that clock stopped, which works to their benefit.
Yeah, we just got to hope that the time in the game runs out before they catch up.
Mavs leading by 14, 2:29 for 3. Allman is missed, rebounded by Christian. Gives it off to the Jet. Jet working against Crouch. Gets it across the timeline. Jackie Butler gives him a little friendly screen there as he crosses. He's looking to get the ball over to Robert Crawford, but his defender, Allman's playing him really tight. Christian pops out for the screen, gets the ball right back, drives down the lane for the jam. Oh, he jams it, but is not called for a foul. Butler saves it back into the hands of Helton, who gets it over to, do not let him have that wide open 3. Andrew Christian working against the defender Crouch, who got a little confused, and there was a little confusion on the court between everybody because people were just looking all over the place.
So confused from that last play on offense.
Man, that was wild. I cannot believe I went in for the jam. He blocked his own shot by pinning it on the rim. Turnover back to the Razorsharks. And the result of the play is we go all the way down to this end. At the line, Crouch shooting the first of 2, misses it. Mavs leading by 14, 99-85. Folks, there's a minute 48 on this clock, but believe me, that minute 48 is going to be a long minute and 48 for our Kentucky Mavs.
Yeah, especially with them getting to the free throw line so much. And on that last play, Christian, he had the wide open 3, elected not to go for it. Elected to go for the statement dunk there on one of their big men down low, and didn't work out. And it was a little bit rough the way that ended up for him.
Crouch converts on the 1, cuts the lead to 13. Full court pressure from Rochester, but easily broken by the Mavs. Josh Johnson driving down the left side of the court, gets hacked by number 33, Sidney Holmes.
Yeah, let's hope he can connect on both of these. He's missed his last few free throws, and these they're big. They're big, and when it comes to the last few minutes of the game.
It's one thing to stop the clock, which works to their benefit, but when we get a clock stop, we're not converting on our free throws. And surprisingly, Josh Johnson, who's usually, a given from the free throw line, has missed 2, converted on that one, so that extends the lead. And we hit the century mark.
There it is.
There's a 140 remaining in the contest, but even the fans were like, whoo, he got that one. Yeah, he got that one. And he converts on both of them. See, that's what it was. All we had to say was he was having trouble, and they get his touch right back. Mavs leading by 15, 101-86.
Oh,
130. A moving screen not called. The Jets on the ground. 3-point shot up by Crouch. Ends up being knocked out of bounds. Stays possession with Rochester.
Coach T's irate. He might want to calm down.
Coach is upset because the Jet got knocked to the ground. I mean, that was as blatant a moving screen as I've seen all game. He's hobbling around. Not only do we not want Anthony hurt, but he cannot have any kind of injury that's going to carry over to tomorrow's game.
Exactly, and that was tough. And
just like that,
Coach T.
With Coach Tucker just got teed up, and that's what we don't need. And now the head coaches for both teams are looking at each other, having a little go at it. All right, we need everybody to get their heads together, calm down. Mavs leading by 15. 128 remaining in this contest. At the line, shooting the technical foul that was just called on Coach Tucker, Corey Allman. 128 remaining, Mavs leading by 15. Now it's 14 after Allman converts on the technical foul. And Rochester retains possession, and it's getting a little ugly because the coaching staff for Rochester is getting mouthy with Coach Tucker.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that. Not just in a just a coach going at another coach after a technical foul, and then even some of their players on their bench were getting up and walking towards Coach Tucker. That's just unheard of to me.
Allman with the ball, goes to the free throw line. He's cut off, does not get the shot. Rayleigh with the three-pointer. That's off into the hands of Anthony, the Jet Jackson, who looks like he's keeping his head together. 1:06 remaining in the contest. Mavs leading by 14, 101-87. Working some time off the clock. 14 seconds remaining. We have to convert, run that time down, but we got to have points on this trip down. And the Jet pulls up from the free throw line. Oh, it rattles out. Fight on the floor, and Butler is called for the foul, going up for the rebound against number 33, Sidney Holmes. Now, we didn't get the points, and it stopped the clock. Yes, there's only 50.9 seconds remaining, but that 14-point lead can be evaporated very quickly, James.
Yeah, like we said, it's just really coming down to how quickly this time runs out, and the Sports Center is really anticipating it. They're starting to feel it, getting on their feet, cheering on the Mavs to try and finish this one out because they know what it means taking off the number 1 team.
At the line, number 32, Josh Chichester. I remember him from playing him last year. Nope, sorry, wrong one. Sidney Holmes. Dang it, James, why don't you keep me in line here, man? I swear.
You're doing just fine.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I think I'm as stressed out as the fans are right now because you would think a 14-point lead would be comfortable with only 50 seconds left on the clock, but I'm still not feeling comfortable.
Yeah, you're never too comfortable when it comes to such a big game and trying to hand the Razorsharks their first loss of the season.
All right, at the line, number 33, Sidney Holmes missed the first of two. Second one is up. It does slide in, so the Mavs lead has been cut to 13 with 50.9 seconds. Full court pressure by Rochester. Josh Johnson with the ball. He gets knocked over by the same man, Sidney Holmes, that just shot the free throws. So it looks like we're going to be trading free throws the last 48.5 seconds of this contest.
Yeah, and I think that's Rochester's only hope is to stop the clock. If they can't get a steal, they're going to have to send the Mavs to the free throw line, and as long as the Mavs can convert, I think they're going to pull this one out.
All right, here we go, folks. Here's the scenario. 48.5 seconds remaining in the contest. Mavs leading by 13 over the defending PBL and undefeated Rochester Razorsharks. 101-88. Josh Johnson at the line. Converts after missing essentially three straight free throws. He's hit the last three in a row. That extends the lead to 14, 102-88. 48.5 seconds remaining. We've got to keep them from getting a quick score and a turnover on the inbound because they're going to go full court the rest of the way. And just like that, Johnson misses.
I think they got a lane
violation, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. It would have been waved off even if he had have made it. 102-88, 48.5 seconds. The Mavs looking to, well, no need for full court pressure because Razorsharks pulled all the way back. Time clicking off, 43 seconds. Mavs up by 14, a long-range 3-0.
There it is.
To Rice Crouch, we did not need that. Cuts the lead to 11, 39 seconds. The Jet is hacked as they inbound the ball, and he is taking a beating today after Corey Allman just gave him a forearm across the face.
Yeah, he's got to make him feel it because he knows he's sending him to the free throw line, and if they're hitting big shots like that, they got to have missed free throws from the Mavs to stay in it here.
Mavs leading by 11, opportunity to go up by 13. Shouldn't the Jet convert on both of these free throws, and this last 37.8 seconds is probably going to be the longest 38.8 seconds of the year for the Kentucky Mavs, not to mention us. And and just like that, the Jet misses.
Don't like to see that. Mavericks have been such a great free throw shooting team all year, as we saw, only missing 2 in the first half, and it seems like this last fourth quarter is almost taking a toll on them. They know what's at stake just like we do, and they just got to fight through it.
The Jet looking to convert on the second free throw to extend. No, and he misses that, but it's almost rebounded by Gerard Devon and Rochester on the breakout. Allman down the lane, blocked by Crawford. Ball goes off of a Kentucky Mav. Looks like Big G out of bounds. 30.2 seconds. Mavs leading by 11.
Great help defense there. I mean, Corey Allman got straight to the basket in a matter of seconds, and that would have been a huge bucket for them had Crawford not blocked it.
Rochester trying to inbound the ball, gets in the hand of Allman, pulls up for 3, off the back of the iron. Back to Ivy, top of the arc, lower left corner to Allman, another 3, off the back of the iron. Holmes almost gets it, but the Jet strips it, 19 seconds. The Mavs are going to try and work it across midcourt, and they do. Into the hands of Big G, Gerard Devon, 12 seconds counting, 10 seconds. And I think Rochester has conceded. Ladies and gentlemen, your Kentucky Mavs have just knocked off the number 1 ranked and previously undefeated defending back-to-back PBL champs, the Rochester Razorsharks. And I'm going to say it right here, right now, if you did not turn out I got no sympathy for you. Shame on you. You
It's a
missed
great one.
the best basketball game I've seen in a long time. This was like two gladiators going at it. I mean, it was just a juggernaut each way that could not be stopped. It was just whose will eventually in the end, James, would prevail. And luckily for us, it was our Mavs will prevailing with an 11-point, 102-91 win to go to 6-1 on the season. And as is traditional for our Mavs at the center court, having the traditional post-game prayer. All right, James, we're going to take time out for a 3-minute commercial break. When we come back, we're going to wrap this up. We're going to have a very short post-game because we've got to be back here tomorrow at 3:45 for the Pennsylvania Dream. All right, folks, we're taking time out for a 3-minute commercial break after we remind you you're listening to Kentucky Mavs basketball on 102.7 The Game, ESPN Owensboro, and we will be right back.